Hello, we are back on the floor. I moved things around slightly. I got myself a sandwich. And now, wait, where did my water go? Oh, it's all fucking up there. And now, we're gonna hang out and do this. Okay, so before we start, I have a question for you guys. Help me do research on this really quick so we can figure out if I can do this or not. So, I know I can't play music because it's YouTube and I'll get copy striked, but can I play other people's YouTube videos of them reading Reddit stories? If I link the videos that I'm playing? Like, do you think that would be okay? Do you think they would copy strike me for that one? Like, obviously, if the YouTuber that I was using got mad and copy striked it, that would be one thing. But, like, I'm saying, like, YouTube. Like, do you think YouTube would flag that? Yeah, it's a question for you guys. Like, I want to know if I can do that. Because I would love, because, like, I'm just going through shit right now, and I would love to be able to, like, play something in the background. Because, like, I know that you guys have music, but I don't have shit to listen to right now. And it would be really good if I could do that. Like, that would be... You think that I can do that? I think I can. Yeah, it's like a reaction video. I mean, I would definitely be reacting to the stories. I would not be able to help myself. You think so? Okay, let's try it. Let's try it. Let's try it. I'm gonna jankily play it off my phone so I can pause it if I need to. I'll turn it up though. Actually, I'm gonna use my iPad. It has better speaker on the iPad. Plus, I think it's, yeah, fully charged. Nice. Yes. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me find one. I was listening to... I found a new channel. I found a new channel, guys. It's just r/Mr. Reddit. So it's just like one of those like basic Reddit channels. But I like his voice. So, yes. Okay? So let's find one. Let's see if it, okay. Let's go. Let's see.
Hey there, Mr. Okay. Reddit here. Welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parent Stories. Today we have a very special episode for you. A compilation of
I'm gonna link it in chat.
Entitled Parent Stories we read over the past year.
I'm gonna link it in chat real quick. Let me just pull up YouTube.
The most entitled parents you've ever heard of.
How is the volume? I can turn it down or up if I need to.
Likes, she won't try to speak to anyone's manager for an entire week. So please smash that like button. And if you're new, subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories from Reddit every single day.
Give me link.
And become an official
Give me the link, bitch.
Today, and I'll give you a shout out in an upcoming video. r/Entitled Parents. My ex keeps giving Karen a key to my house.
Hopefully this works.
My ex-husband and I have 2 sons, ages 3 and 6, and a daughter who's 10 months. We split up over a year ago, and during
there's the link.
We got 1 weekend a month with our sons and no custody of our daughter. He has to drive to the house to get the boys on his weekends.
Volume good?
Because sometimes I'm on work calls or dealing with the baby, and the boys always forget things at my place.
Fuck, I missed the beginning of this because I wasn't paying attention. I'm going back. I'm sorry.
Mr. Reddit here. Welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parent Stories.
Let me go through earrings.
Today we have a very special episode for you. A compilation of some of the greatest entitled parent stories we read over the past year. So sit back, relax, and enjoy a few hours of the most entitled parents you've ever heard of. And by the way, Karen assured me,
and since it's a long video, we won't have to like
switch
around or anything.
So please smash that like button. And if you're new,
I can turn it up.
subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories from Reddit every single day. And become an
It does
official
sound like
member
him.
of the Re-Army today, and I'll give you a shout out in an upcoming video.
If you want me to turn the music off, I can do that actually. That might be a good idea.
Keeps giving Karen a key to my house.
Music,
my
bye.
ex-husband and I have 2 sons.
I'm
ages
sorry,
3
what?
and 6, and a daughter who's 10
Giving a
months.
Karen the key
We
to your
split up
house?
over a year ago, and during proceedings, he got 1 weekend a month with our sons and no custody of our daughter. He has to drive to the house to get the boys on his weekends. Because sometimes I'm on work calls or dealing with the baby, and the boys always forget things at my place, we agreed that he could keep his key to the house so he could run in and grab stuff or come get the boys without disturbing me/the baby. 2 months ago, I found my ex's mother in my living room playing with my daughter. I asked her how she got in, and she said that X had given her his key so she could pick up the boys for him. I told her that as my
Hell
ex
no.
is meant to be the only person collecting the boys, I'd rather
Hell
X
the
came
fuck
for them in
no.
the future. She said she understood and would relay my message, then took the boys to my ex, and all was fine. A month later, she just let herself into my home to pick up the boys again.
No,
I was
I'd
a lot
call the
sterner
cops.
this time, saying this was my home and she couldn't just let herself in.
I would
She
literally
responded
call the
that
cops.
this wasn't just my home, but also the home of her grandchildren, and it used to be her son's home too.
Okay,
And she
bitch,
has
not
a key,
anymore,
so
the fuck?
she shouldn't need to request my permission to enter. When she left, I called my boyfriend, who then said he'd pick up a front door lock and came over
My
and
aunt
fit
got
it
me
if I
this
wanted.
necklace.
I agreed, and within an hour, the lock was changed and a latch was added. On Sunday,
Good,
someone
okay.
started knocking rapidly and forcefully on the front door. I saw it was my ex's mother, and she had my sons with her, so I let the boys in, and she began to tell me that their key wasn't working, so she'd need a new one. I said her key wasn't working because I changed the locks, and she wouldn't be
We're
getting
never
a new
supposed
one.
to have a
She
key!
told me that I had to give my ex a new key, so I might as well
No.
give it to her to give to him. And I refused, saying that clearly my ex can't be trusted with my key, so he won't be getting one either.
Yes,
Since
good job.
this conversation, I've had non-stop calls
Good job,
and messages from both my ex
Hold
and his
strong.
mother saying I need to give one of them a key because them not having access to the house means having to rely on me to give them access, and that I'm making things extraordinarily difficult for the both of them. They
Sucks
say that
to
they
suck.
need to have a key for the reasons in the first
Like,
paragraph.
get out of
And
here.
I
What are
said
you
that they need to
talking
start
about?
letting me know when they'll be coming so I can let them in. They say that I'm
No.
restricting access to the kids, as they'll now have to work to my schedule. But I checked, and I'm well within my legal rights. Morally, however, I am unsure, because
No.
technically speaking, I am restricting access
Morally,
to
you're
the
even
kids
more
and
right.
making life harder for all of us over 2 incidents.
It can't
Am
be
I
that
the
hard.
jerk? Well, who do you agree with? OP or her ex and his mother? Please let us know.
Fuck them
I'd set up
bitches.
some booby traps for them, Home Alone style. Crazy Karen in training got me a date. The other week, I had gone to a local store that's like a Walmart, but it's not a franchise.
Do you guys like this so
it's
far?
just one giant supermarket that's owned locally.
Hopefully
and
this is
happened
slightly
in
more
Canada.
entertaining.
I'm a younger guy, and there was a lady with her 3 small kids behind me. This is M. She had Karen hair, but I hadn't really noticed because her mask has a cool moose logo on it. And because it's just natural instinct here, I grabbed the front door handle and held it open for her. A common act of courtesy here. There was
That's nice
also
of
a
you.
heavy-set lady in a cowboy hat, full-on sprinting towards the door from across the parking lot,
In a cowboy
screaming
hat.
at me to wait. And I kind of just sat there like, what the heck? She went in, and I just sat there for a second, not understanding what happened. This lady is Karen. Anyways, I go ahead and do my shopping, and the woman and her kids came up to me, and M started to chat with me. Karen comes over to me and says, "Hey, you work here. Where is the milk?" Yeah, seems like a reasonable thing to ask someone, and she seemed snobby, but not anything I caught on to. I just told her where the milk was, and me and M laughed when Karen left. The employees here wore an apron with their names embroidered on the chest, and I was in full camouflage and muddy boots. Me and M ended up having a really good
I
conversation.
feel like that happens
Her
so
boyfriend
often where it's
apparently
like they
left her
think
and their
that
kids
someone
a
works
few
there
years
and then
ago,
they don't, and then
we
they
just
get
talked
mad
for
when
a
they
good
don't work there.
45 minutes
Why?
while we shopped before Karen came back over. I want to speak to your manager. You've been harassing this
Yes,
girl and her
birthday
kids.
month.
I was again
Fuck a
dumbfounded.
birthday week.
Like, what?
Birthday month.
Good luck finding my manager. I don't work here.
Thank you,
I
Lex.
tell her. I thought she would go full Karen mode, but she actually stopped for a second and noticed what I was wearing. That's when M chimes in and says, "Can you leave us alone, please?" And Karen, now defeated, slumped away. I have no clue what this
I
lady
don't
thought
get-
she was doing or what she was going to accomplish
Why?
at all, but I fear for when she becomes a full
Why?
Karen. Me and Em exchanged phone numbers
I
before
fear
heading
for
our
when she
separate
becomes
ways
a
and
full
have since
Karen.
been talking about going out. Update. Okay, in the last
Impending
12
full
hours this
Karen.
blew up, so I thought I'd give a small update. Me and Em had dinner with her kids.
Ugh.
Global situation made us both not want to go out. And it went well.
So many
except
tiny
when I
earrings.
stopped at the local supermarket to get some ingredients for something that isn't sad single man food.
Hey,
Guess who was there?
sad
Cowboy
single man
hat Karen.
food.
She didn't notice me at all, but it was definitely her. At dinner, I found out Karen is actually Em's older cousin. And unfortunately,
Honestly, as far as
Karen had
Karens
just
go,
told
this
Em
one doesn't
that she
seem
thought
that
I
bad.
was cute. So the comments ended up being,
Happy birthday year.
Karen liked me, and I feel disgusting. We'll update in 1 year. Am I the jerk for forcing my daughter's school to change the rules? Before you all
I mean,
jump to
probably
calling me
not.
a Karen, let me explain. So my daughter, who's 17, Clem, goes to a school that has recently changed its policy
This
on
bracelet I
phones.
got in Hawaii.
Instead of getting it back at the end of the day, the school keeps it for 4 days, not including weekends or holidays, and then a guardian has to come collect it after school. We were not made aware of this new policy. We live a good hour and a half away from the school. Well, on Thursday, my daughter came home late and said she had to walk home because the school had taken her phone. Bus tickets are on their phones, and buses aren't taking money to avoid contact. I asked her what happened, and she said she was
What?
checking her texts in the toilet when a teacher came in and confiscated it because she was in a no-phone area. That same night, I contacted her school
Hold up.
and set up a meeting.
Hold the fuck up. Hold up. First of all, she was in the bathroom, and the bathroom is a no texting area. That's weird. Second of all, they're not supposed to keep your phone past school hours. Like, you're supposed to be able to go get it after school. That's usually how it goes when they take your phone away. What the fuck? That seems crazy. What? And then she had to walk home? Like, what if she lived, like, a far-ass ways away? They don't know. Bro.
Meeting with the head. He told me the school realized taking phones for the day wasn't a big enough deterrent, so now they take them for 4 days. I was floored.
I'm sorry,
My
you
daughter
can't
had
do that.
to walk home in the dark and cold because the school
That's
held her phone
dangerous. You can't do
overnight. I
that.
told them what my daughter had told me, and they confirmed that that's what happened. I told them that I have no issue with them taking the phone for 4 days at school, but they need to give her phone back to her after school so she can
Agreed.
get home safely. After
That's
a bit of
insane.
debating, they finally agreed. When I
Like,
told my
what do you
husband,
mean?
he rolled his eyes at me and called me a Karen. He told me
How?
that Clem should walk home as punishment, despite the high crime rate in our area.
Consider a divorce. Literally, no. Like, he's not taking your daughter's safety into account when she's walking home late at night from school without a phone to call for help with? What the fuck? No.
Am I the jerk? Edit
No.
to clarify some things. Clem did tell the school about her ticket on her phone and went to the main office for the $1.20 bus fare as a last resort. But the school wouldn't give it to her, and buses aren't taking cash as of recent. 2. Neither of the students or parents were made aware of this rule at the start of the school year. Many kids just assumed rules were the same as last year. 3. I didn't get home until 5:30ish, but my phone is always on in case of emergencies. My other 2 kids did not let me know about Clem not being back until after I got home, which is when I called the police. She got home at around 6:15 p.m. I was told by police to stay home with my kids. My husband has since apologized for his stupid statement.
Good.
If anything else needs
The
clearing
fuck?
up, I'll add another edit. 5. We're not
As he
changing
should.
schools because she's doing her A-levels and she only has around 7 months of school left. It'll cause more hassle than it's worth. 6. No, Clem could not get a taxi. We don't have taxis where we live. Only Ubers, which you need to order on your phone. Also, the reason why I'm not actually punishing
Oh my God.
Clem is because she was in the bathroom cubicle when a teacher came in and looked through
Exactly.
the gap. She claimed she was looking for another student and saw Clem in the cubicle on her phone. Don't worry, she wasn't actually using it at the time.
What? The teacher was looking through the gap. Obviously, this was in America, but like. Wow.
But that's still creepy. Well, who do you agree with?
What
OP
the fuck?
or the school?
The
Please let
teachers
us
should
know.
be fired
Maybe she can sue
and.
the school, and that's what I would do.
Yeah, me too,
My
bitch.
entitled
The
mother
fuck?
wants me to buy my little brother video games.
Sue them.
I have so many stories
That's
about my
crazy.
mother and her entitlement.
That's
But this one is the most
crazy.
recent one.
I
From
hope that
ruining
story's
my high
fake,
school
bro.
graduation to putting people down every possible way. Good thing I moved out when I got the first chance away from all of her toxicity. So, people in the story. Warshadow 9-1, yours truly. Entitled Mom, my oh so persuading mom. And we've got my little brother. So I haven't been to my parents' house in months due to everything that's been going on. And the fact that my mom and the rest of her side of the family continue going out and going on vacations without any worries of their kids or for my grandparents. But enough about that. Let's get to the main story. This year, with my income tax money, I made a custom-built PC so I can do some PC gaming. So most of my games are done through PC. Since almost all
Say
games
PC
coming
one
out
more time.
are going cross-play. For people that don't do gaming, it means you can play with people on Xbox and PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, and in some cases, even mobile cell phones. So I barely spend any money on consoles or games for consoles for that matter. But I still play with people on my
Explain to me
Xbox,
like I'm 5.
since some friends don't like the whole PC scene due to constant cheating. Little brother. Warshadow, are you going to get the new Xbox Series X? Me. Yeah, I might get it, but closer to the holiday seasons. Little brother. Are you going to get the new Call of Duty game? Me. I might, but if I do get it, it'll be for the PC since it offers crossplay. Maybe later I'll get it for the Xbox Series X once there's a special, or if I win a gift card or something from everything I buy at Best Buy. Little brother. You should buy the cross-gen bundle. That way I can also play it. Little context on this. My Xbox account is on his Xbox as my home console. So the gold account and any game I buy, he can use it for free without any worries. And I never asked him for a cent before. Me.
Yes,
No, I'll buy it later.
so many.
And like I told you on the Xbox, but not right
The
now.
earrings
Or
I'm
you can
keeping
pay for
versus
half
the
of
ones
it,
I'm
and
getting
I'll
rid
pay
of.
the other half. That way you can get the game on your Xbox and I can get it on my Series X. I thought this was a good deal. We won't pay full price for the game, and he'll get it and I'll get it.
That-
and I'll just
I
wait
agree,
later
it
on
doesn't
in
make
the
any
year to buy it
sense.
for my PC. Sadly, the first person he went to ask for money was my mother. She hates me selling stuff to my brother, especially since she thinks since we're family, the stuff he gets from me should be free. Entitled Mom. Wall Shadow, what's this about you charging your brother so he can play a game?
Depends on how old you are.
I told her the gist of it, and that usually it's $59.99 plus tax for a game. But for $10 more, he'll be able to play it on his Xbox, and I'll be able to play it on my Xbox Series X once I get it. She went off. Well, if you're buying the game, then he should only give you $10 to play it. I told her, yeah, it's a $10 difference. But I told her I was planning on getting the game on PC instead. But if he was willing to pay half of it...
Okay. I was like, why would he pay for all of it? But like, if you guys are going halvesies, then okay, that I can see that. But just like, okay.
I would pay the other half. And I did say multiple times I've never charged him for using my gold account and my games on his console before. Entitled Mom. That doesn't matter. He should only pay you $10, so get that version, and I'll give you the $10. I was livid. It's not the $10, it's the principle of him being responsible. I did this so he would help my mom out at the house, since he is at home all day.
Okay, pause, because it's the principle of him being responsible. You're not his parent, you're his brother. It doesn't really matter. Like, that... Like, I mean, sure, I guess, but like, that's not really your job, so it should be about the money.
And does nothing. That way, he can get an allowance
Like,
and learn to appreciate hard-earned money. But she's not getting it. I told her, you know what? I'm not getting anything. And if I do get it, the game will be for my PC. End of story. Entitled Mom. See? I told you to never ask him for anything. I just facepalmed and walked away. Speaking of gaming, do you play any video games? And if so, which ones? Please let us know. Breath of the Wild for the win. Rolls from where? When I was in my early 20s, I waited tables. The restaurant was open till 11 p.m. on weekends
I don't miss
and 10 p.m.
working
on
in a
weeknights.
restaurant.
Well, one Friday night we
Don't
were
miss it.
insanely busy and had run out of nearly everything. We had a really weird, random busy week compared to most weeks. Anyways, this family of 5 or 6 comes in at 10:45 p.m. and sits in our smoking section. I was running the smoking section that night and had 2 other tables already there but finishing up. I walk up and greet the table. They start asking about the specials, and I tell them and let them know that we do have a limited menu at this time, as we've run out of many of the things. They tell me it's no
Typical.
problem. I take their drink order and run to grab them. While I'm back there, I grab some rolls, only there aren't any. I ask if more rolls are in the oven, and I'm told no by the owner.
Ooh.
I tell him
Y'all
I have
are
6 top
really
rolls.
low.
He tells me that we're not cooking more rolls tonight, as they will just get thrown out. I say okay, and inform my table that I'm sorry, but we're out of rolls for tonight. The dad goes off and says to fix more. I tell him I already asked, and the owner said no more rolls tonight, and it was out of my control. My manager was standing
like
at the
that's on the
hostess
owner.
podium listening in. I take their food order, and it was a process, because they wanted pretty much everything we were out of. I finally get their order, and the kitchen cooks it like they
I feel
ordered.
bad for them,
My
actually. Like,
manager
you
helps
come to
me
a
bring it
restaurant
out
and they're
and
out of
stays close
everything,
by in case
including
they
the
cause
free
problems.
rolls. Like,
They say everything looks great, and we walk away. I come back after a few minutes to check, and I see the dad rummaging around on the other table that had just left. He walks back over to his table with a basket of bread from the other table, and they start chowing down on the rolls. I'm appalled at this. Why would you take food off another table that someone had eaten at? I
because
asked
they
if the
wanted
food was
rolls,
tasting fine.
bitch.
The dad says no, that the rolls are cold and hard, and that his steak isn't cooked right. I say, oh, I'm sorry. I can get the steak fixed for you if you'd like. He says no, but he wants fresh rolls. I told him he wasn't getting any rolls, and I asked him where he got the rolls on the table. He said from over there, and points to
That
the
is
recently
so
vacated
fucking
table.
funny.
I looked at him and said it was gross to eat food from someone else's table, because you
I
don't
mean,
know what
I
they did to the
agree.
food,
I wouldn't
and
do
served
that,
him
but
right
like
that
at
the
the
rolls
same
are cold
time.
and hard. I walked away and went and said something to the manager. The owner overhears this and asks where this table is at. I tell him the smoking section. He takes his apron off and walks over there and stands and listens while he restocks the hostess podium with menus and cleans the silverware table and generally cleans my whole section for me.
That is
While he's cleaning my section up, he's observing this family while my manager and I are watching close by. This family has made quite a mess at their table. So
I would just leave too. I'd be like, yeah, fuck you
The
guys.
dad
Fuck
says
this
no
place.
and tells me to get him his dang check.
Y'all should call
The
Gordon
owner
Ramsay.
pops
The
up at
fuck?
this
What do you
and
mean?
turns around with this
Rolls.
furious look on his face. I placed the check down and said, "Here you go, sir," with a smile, and stand there to wait while shaking my head at the owner like, I got this. He walks over to where the manager is and watches. Dad pays, but not before complaining about the bill and lack of good food quality. I make change at the hostess podium, and the owner comes up and grabs it from me. He walks over to the dad and says, "Here's your change. Now leave and don't come back to my restaurant. You've treated this young lady with absolute disrespect for doing her job, and I won't tolerate it. Do not come back, ever." They take their time in leaving.
Your restaurant's
and when
gonna
they
go out
do,
of
we start
business,
cleaning
it
off
sounds
their
like.
table.
Because
They didn't
what the
leave a
fuck
tip.
is any of this
I didn't expect
service?
one,
It's
honestly,
shit.
from them. But they left a penny in a glass of
Even
water
the
that was
shittiest
turned
restaurants I
upside
worked
down.
in wouldn't do
I noticed
this.
they were
What is
standing outside
that?
watching
What do you
us.
mean, get out of my
I knocked a cup of
restaurant?
water
You're the
into
one
our
that
bus
served
bin
a
and picked up
not
the
well
penny,
cooked
tried
steak
it off, and walked to
and
the front door and unlocked
no
it and
rolls.
went outside to them.
And you were out of
I threw
everything.
the penny at them because they were laughing and pointing at me, and told them to keep the dang thing because I didn't want a single cent from them due to their lack of manners, respect, and overall lack of being a decent human being. I
They didn't
walked
even
back
do
in
anything that
and locked
bad,
the doors
dude.
and finished helping clean the table off. Manager and owner were shocked. Owner said, "Well, little Miss Sweet and Innocent isn't Miss Sweet and Innocent like I thought." And I laughed and said, "I may look sweet and innocent, but I'm a pit bull when I
Is
get
this a
angry."
fanfic? This
It
feels
was
like a
the
fanfic.
first
Did
time
everyone
him
start
and my
clapping?
manager had heard something like this out of my mouth. Word got around the restaurant about this table and how I handled it, and everyone was glad I didn't take
Did they all
crap from
start
them.
clapping?
"Sir, you have to wait here." Back in the 90s,
They
while
started
in college,
clapping.
I worked in a small store of a
Why?
large nationwide grocery chain
No.
part-time to help pay for books, extra food and snacks, etc. Back then, many grocery stores had video departments. I worked in the non-foods department, where we also manned the video counter, the lottery machine, and had a register. couldn't sell anything sold by weight, like produce, and there was no scale. You can imagine how busy Saturday nights would get with folks wanting to rent videos and other folks wanting lottery tickets. One such Saturday night in January, around 6:15, this older gentleman came through with a paper lunch sack. Old man. Here's my money, here's my list. I'm going to walk around the store, and when I come back, I want my lottery tickets. He took off. I looked in the sack, and there was about $300 in cash, and 4 pages on lined notebook papers full of 3 to 4 digit lottery numbers, all arranged in different groups. Whether
What
you
a
had them
king!
boxed, smaller prize, straight, number order had to be exact, or some
Hell
other
yeah!
way. I looked at my coworker, who shrugged and began
Go
helping the
off,
next person in line
Tony.
who wanted to rent the video.
Let's fucking
Over the
go.
next 15 minutes, I kept entering lottery numbers on
He
the
sounds
machine
organized
just
as
for this
fuck.
one guy, who was nowhere near the counter. A lady came
Oh,
up
sorry,
and wanted
Bubbles.
to order lottery tickets as well, and I explained what I was doing and that there was going to be a wait. She became upset, rightfully so, and went to drag a manager over, who told me to stop what I was doing and help the lady in front of me since the gentleman was not there. So I did.
I mean,
And
yeah,
the
that's
next
fair.
person, and the next person, because the manager was standing a few feet away watching me. At 7:10, the gentleman returned and was livid because I didn't have his tickets completed. He told me he was going to walk around some more and that I had better have them ready in 10 minutes when he returned, regardless of the fact that we had 2 lines 10 deep. I asked him to stay there and he refused.
Okay.
Other customers became angry, so I started helping them. The next 3 told me that guy had some nerve and that they were going to complain to the manager about it. Next thing I know, the 10 minutes have passed, and the guy's list still isn't done. It's been over an hour since he brought it to me. He became upset, started yelling at me, saying that I was messing with his money, and that if he...
Listen, okay, so I get this from both sides. Like, from the old man's point of view, he's old. He doesn't want to just, like, stand in line. He probably wants to walk around. There could be numerous reasons for why he wants to do that. Obviously, he knows what he wants. He has it all organized and written down. He handed it to you and gave you very clear instructions. So I can see why, after returning, after an hour, and it not being done, he would be upset. And at the same time, I understand that as the worker, you gotta deal with the people that are, like, you know, in front of you yelling at you, especially if your manager's right there telling you to do it. So, like, yeah, like, at that point, like, you gotta just hang out for a bit while this happens, otherwise it's not gonna happen. You know? Like, if it's that busy, it's not the type of situation where you can drop something off and come back. Like, read the room, bro. God damn it.
didn't win because the ticket wasn't finished. He was going to sue. He left and dragged the manager back over. It's 7:25 at this point, and the machine would automatically stop allowing any more tickets to be purchased at that point because the drawings would begin 5 minutes later, complaining that I didn't finish up his tickets. Mind you, this is a different manager than before. And of course, the manager took his side, saying that since he was there first, I should have completed his order before starting on anyone else's. Once the gentleman left and the line disappeared, the manager pulled me upstairs to the office to give me a talking to. The first manager was up there and heard the second one telling me I was getting written up, and he interjected. He told the second manager what really happened,
God.
and told him that the guy kept leaving.
You and
and
your
refusing to
managers
stay in
don't
line
communicate.
So I could work on his list. He also informed him that several other customers had come to him to complain about that guy, and that this wasn't the first time he had had it done, and therefore I wasn't to be punished. From then on, it was decided that if the gentleman came back to pull the same stunt, that I and my coworkers had to tell him he either needed to stay right there, or there would be no guarantee his numbers would be input completely and on time. He could also come in on other days of the week to play his numbers for Saturday. Wouldn't you know it, the next Saturday he shows up at 6:45 with another $200 worth of lists of numbers.
Yeah.
He tried leaving, and I told him that he needed to stay right there where he was if he wanted those numbers, or he would have to explain to the 8 other people in line behind him.
I'm glad this is so relatable for you guys.
Well. He tried to protest, and I offered to get a manager. He backed down, and I worked his numbers.
Making a pile of everything I actually use every day so that I can have, like,
me, and rightfully so.
Figure out what I'm doing.
He started coming in earlier in the afternoon and stayed there to have a conversation with me while I input his numbers. Ended up being a cool guy, but terribly clueless that others also wanted to play. I helped a nice older lady. This happened in early November of 2019. I, 56, male, was in a big chain home improvement store pricing out material I needed for a project at my godson's dance school. I was in no hurry and was just wandering around the store pricing things I would need to build 10-foot tall candy canes. So I'm wandering around with my phone out taking pictures of the material I would need so I could make the price proposal for the owners of the dance school. I'm not following any specific path through the store, just taking my time minding my own business. This sweet older lady comes up to me and asks if I could help her. She explains how she's looking for a light fixture for her bedroom to replace the one in the ceiling. She tells me that she has an electrician doing some work in her home, and this guy said if she picked out a new light fixture, he would install it for her. But she told me she didn't even know where the lighting section was in the store, so she would really appreciate my help. Now, since I was not on any kind of a timeline, I told her I'd be happy to help her. So we went over to the lighting section, and she was impressed by the selections, but also clearly overwhelmed. We talked about what she wanted for her new bedroom light. We explored the options. I asked her questions like, did she want a light with a fan, or something more basic? Did she want a lot of light, less light, something more modern or more traditional? She considered things, and we looked at dozens of light fixtures. Neither of us were in a hurry. We both seemed to be enjoying our time together. While we were shopping for her new light, she told me all about her family. Our husband of 35 years had passed away, and all about her 4 kids and her grandkids, and even some of her friends. She seemed to be really enjoying having someone new to talk to. Finally, she selected her new light fixture. It was more of a traditional chandelier-type light fixture that she was just thrilled about. She couldn't wait to see it installed in her bedroom. I walked to the checkout with her, and then helped her get it in her car. She thanked me profusely. Then she said she wanted me to come back inside, while she told my manager what a truly wonderful employee I was. I smiled, and let her know I didn't actually work there. She looked confused, and asked me if I didn't work there, why I helped her. I said she needed help, and I was happy to help out. I was just being nice. She gave me a quick hug, and told me I just made her whole day, and thanked me again.
That is so cute.
No evil raging Karen, but a
That's
nice
the
little
cutest
encounter anyway.
I didn't
really
work
hope
here
she
story
likes her
ever.
new bedroom light.
Or I don't work
Entitled
here.
family
You know what I
messing
mean.
around
That's
trying
so
to order
cute.
food.
So
My
fucking
parents own an
wholesome.
Asian restaurant.
I love
My
that.
dad works his butt off to ensure our survival. I love and respect his iron will and his undying determination. My mom works just as hard. Of course, I help where I can to ease their workload. Our restaurant opens every day from 11:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. One day, we get a reservation for 3 people at 10 p.m. A family, it seems. Well, it would have been perfectly fine if they hadn't come in 30 minutes late. My mom was already upset. My dad, on the other hand, kept his cool. They did not speak Chinese or any other language my parents could understand but English, so it was my turn to help out. They were okay to speak to it first, but it took way too long to order a meal for 3. They questioned everything, from the way it's cooked to the ingredients, and if you know the Chinese kitchen, most dishes are cooked with a delicious sauce. Dry dishes are not the type of food my father would cook.
I'm gonna put my daily use makeup in
here.
here.
The way things are done in the kitchen varies from region to region. Some regions have their regional specialties dry and spicy, and others mild and moist, but it still varies depending on how the cook likes it cooked. They want dishes without sauce or without any type of vegetable. The description they gave for the food they wanted sounded way too Western for a traditional Asian cook like my dad. They even went as far as wanting to try the dishes first, to test it out to their liking. My mom got more and more upset. Then my mom started talking loudly in Chinese, telling me to tell them to get out. My dad and I tried to calm her, but she went on and on, how stupid they were, and how stupid I am for trying to negotiate. Then they decided to get up and leave, but not without nasty passive-aggressive comments like, "It says you're open till 11 p.m., so you need to serve till 11 p.m." Or, "It's a pity. You know there are online reviews, right?" Oof.
Shut up.
On the ride home, we discussed their behavior, and my mom pointed out how it was only the wife who had complained, on behalf of her husband. "He wouldn't like the food this way." The son was quite silent, but it was more like his mother than his father. Yikes. Mom thinks her kid should get the same discount she does. So, I'm now the owner of a landscaping business that my father started. He retired last year. He still checks in and helps a lot on the business end of things until I get my footing. We work in a city in South Florida, and about 95% of our customers are above the age of 60. My dad has 3 clients that we charge at a very low rate because they've used him since the start of the business. 2 out of the 3 understand that they're being charged a low rate and love us for it. But we have one lady that is very hard to deal with. My dad refuses to let go of her contract without a legitimate reason. That's just who my dad is. She has 2 daughters, and they both own homes with their husbands.
Else into other
We get a call from this lady asking us to take on her daughters. I told her if she would like to give them our number, I can talk with them and get it figured out. I was doing this as a favor to my dad, really, because adding the 2 extra properties right now stretches us pretty thin, and I'll probably have to help out as well as my cousin, who basically manages the crews. Anyone will tell you, expanding with a landscaping company is not as easy as it seems, and it's bordering along the impossible without proper planning. So one of the 2 daughters calls in and gives me their details, and I told them I could come out and meet them and give them an estimate as soon as possible. That was met with a few seconds of silence, and followed by, daughter. My mom had told me about the rate she paid, and we were under the assumption that we'd be paying those same rates. Me. Unfortunately, we won't be able to do that, ma'am. We give her a special discount for being with us for so long. Daughter. She is my mom, and I'm sure she won't be happy to hear about this. Me.
Okay.
Okie dokie. Her. Click. So I don't think anything of it. Tell my pops what happened. We had a laugh about it, and how entitled the people where we live are. Later that night, I get the call from the crazy lady. Me. Hello. Her. Let me explain something to you.
Oh boy.
We have a way of doing things in this town, and you just broke rule 1.
In this town, is this the fucking
The
mob?
customer is always right. You told me you would take on my daughters, and I expect you to do just that. Me.
Well, if they pay
I
full
told your
price, they
daughters I
can.
could take them on, but not at the same rate. I never said I would be charging the same rate. Her. Yes, you absolutely did. And I expect you to hold to your word like your father would. You would be so disappointed in you by now. I'm guessing she didn't know my dad still took part in the business, because he avoids her at all costs. Me. Okay, ma'am, I'll see what I can do. Her. You better. This is just not how you do business. Me. Okay. I went to my dad and
Okay.
told him about it. He told me to end her contract. I told him I had a better idea, and he agreed to it. Now, I say contract, but it's just a monthly billing for her contract, due to it being so low. So I call her back the next day. Her. Hello? Me. Hello there, miss. It's me, your landscaping company, calling you back. Her. I hope you have some good news, because I still feel slighted. Me. Oh, I have some news. We will be giving your daughters the same rate as you insisted.
Ha!
Perfect. When can I tell them you'll be over? We'll get to that, but we have to discuss your new rates first. What new rates? I didn't agree to new rates.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Well, you requested to pay the same amount as your daughters, so we've taken away the special discount we've given you, and your new rate will be $800 a month. That will start in 2 months from now. What came after was incoherent screaming and her hanging up. She called back the next day, but refused to talk with me. She tried talking with my cousin, but he referred her to me. She tried getting a hold of my dad, but he shut off his work cell long ago. She eventually calls back and tried to negotiate with me, but I told her it was all at her request and too late to go back.
It's all at her
She
request.
dropped us the next month. She had been a thorn in my dad's side for so long. He was relieved when I told him about the call.
Y'all should have dropped her a while ago.
The extra stress of dealing with her anyway. It's very easy and satisfying to tell someone to buzz off, but my dad lived by a set of business rules that his dad taught him.
Oh.
My mom saw Dexter and now refers to him as Dexter because of his fanatical obsession with these rules. Rule number 1 is very simple but huge. Don't ever give someone a reason to hate you. It'll serve to bolster your pride and can only hurt you in the future. And 2, don't ever, for any reason, do anything to anyone, no matter what, no matter where, or who you are with, or where you're going, or where you've been, ever, for any reason whatsoever. Should I expose my mom's Facebook lies? I,
What?
28 female.
What kind of advice or rules is that to live by?
Earlier this year because they needed help with
Thank you,
life during
dickhead.
lockdown. During that time, like many people,
I'm glad.
I
I'm
launched
glad you guys
myself
are
into
enjoying it.
baking. It's always been
I
a
should
special
smoke.
hobby, as I'm pretty shy, and baking things for people I care about is one of the few ways I can express myself. Over the years, when I've made something challenging, my mom, who's 65, has insisted I send her photos.
Right.
I always thought it was cool that she was
This is
interested
everything left.
and would send her
Oh,
lots
wait,
of pictures.
hold on. I'll show you.
Needless to say, when I was living with her, she was hovering around like some kind of pastry paparazzi. Tonight, while visiting,
This
Mom
is
asked me
everything
to help
left
her with her Facebook
from the
privacy
desk.
settings. While doing so,
That's
I
it,
discovered
y'all.
that she's been posting pictures of my bakes with me cropped out and claiming them as her own creation.
I'm sorry,
I
what?
hadn't added her on Facebook, so I had no idea that she had been doing this for literally years. The captions were always something like, "Freshly baked apple pie. Thank goodness OP can rely on me to bake for her." Underneath the posts, family and friends usually comment on how great she bakes, and that I was spoiled for being a grown adult who still didn't know how to cook. After
Bruh.
going through all of the posts, I noticed there was
I
a
would
theme.
lose my
She
mind.
fixed
What?
me as a pathetic, lonely loser, incapable of looking after myself. Most of her family lives
No.
overseas and have no idea that she's lying, while her friends don't know me well enough to question it. So would I be the jerk if I logged into my mom's Facebook and changed all the captions to be
No,
more
do
honest?
it.
I
Do
hate
it. That would be
confrontations,
so
but I don't know what
funny.
to do.
That would be so funny.
It's
Do
been
it.
almost 24 hours, and I just want to say thanks to everyone who has responded. You're all totally right. My initial approach was immature and lazy.
Y'all
I was
suck.
taking the easy way out
Come on.
and not facing having the awkward and frankly painful conversation required.
Record
I spent
that.
some time today practicing
Post
what
it
I'm
to her
going say
Facebook.
so that I don't
Facebook
freeze up
Live
like I
it.
usually do. I've also told my dad about the posts. He doesn't have
I'm
Facebook.
so petty.
He was shocked, but not surprised. He said that she's previously posted fake
Oh my
holiday
God.
photos and once claimed she had rescued a puppy. She thinks it's funny and that they're just white lies. He found out when he ran into people who asked him about them, which led to a lot of confusion and embarrassment for him. He's asked me to come
How
over
is she
tomorrow.
not
He's going to help
embarrassed?
keep
I don't
things
understand
calm
how people
so that I
lie
can
about
talk
shit
to
like
her.
that so
If she gets upset, she starts
all the
shouting, which
time.
usually ends the
What the
conversation
fuck?
because I freeze up. I've had time to cool down, and while I'm still really hurt, I mainly just feel overwhelmingly sad for her. I think our
Thanks,
chat
Liz.
might turn into a bigger mental health discussion, because as many people have pointed out, she must be deeply unhappy with parts of her life.
Yeah.
She has to pretend
Yeah, no,
to
she
be
definitely
this
needs
apple
therapy.
pie baking, puppy saving, luxury
That is
holiday taking
crazy,
person.
dude.
Regardless of how the chat
That is
goes, I know I
crazy.
need some time away from her to process things.
What?
As suggested, I've added a few members of my mom's family on Facebook.
Thank you,
where
Iron
I've
Nut.
uploaded pictures and progress shots of my baking.
I
I've exchanged
am. I'm
messages
gonna be
with my
doing
aunt,
this
mom's
probably
cousin,
over the whole
this
next week.
afternoon that I
Because we
hadn't
gotta do
seen
the
since
whole
I was a
room,
kid,
bitch.
and arranged a video chat with her and her family.
We
this
got a
weekend.
lot to
She
go.
mentioned that she loves
Which
cooking.
is why I
and sent me a
decided to
family
get back
recipe
on for the
that I
rest
plan
of
to
the night.
record and share
Well,
with
not the
just
rest
my
of
family.
hold on.
I'll probably babble all the way
You know what I
through
mean.
it and look stupid, but I'm excited to find a
I need to
positive
get
way
more
to clear
weed
my name.
tomorrow.
I've gotten so many great ideas from everyone here, and I'm grateful to you all that I didn't go through with my terrible original idea. I honestly
No,
can't
you
thank
should
you
have done
folks
it.
enough for your advice. Well, what do
You
you
guys
think? Should
suck.
OP log into their mom's Facebook and change the captions on
Petty
the pictures
revenge,
or not?
let's
Please
go.
let us know.
Give me.
Damn you to log into my Facebook. My teacher insulted my work. It then got featured in the biggest art gallery in the country. Context. The school I go to is well respected in my country, so it was not uncommon for venues to request to display a student's work or to ask for students to sing live for them. On the occasion in question, the largest art gallery in the country, Gallery X, had asked my school to submit inspired
Gallery
art
X.
to be out on
Can
display.
you not even tell us the
school
country?
agreed and said
Come
they
on.
would submit 5 pieces of work, 1 piece per year for years 9 through 13. Back to the story. I hated art growing up, but it was a mandatory subject until you got to choose your subjects in year 10. Needless to say, I dropped the subject ASAP. Despite hating the subject, I still put effort into my work, and some of it wasn't that bad. However, at the time, I would not hide away from expressing my views when we were given a task that I didn't see a point to, even if the teacher was in earshot. Needless to say, my relationship with that art department faculty wasn't the best. My teacher at the time particularly had it in for me. He was one of those teachers that has the view that their subject should be your most important subject, regardless of your future ambitions. If he thought that you weren't
I've met those.
prioritizing art, then he would make your life heck. Yet again, I hated art as a
Okay.
subject. He knew this, but I would still do any work set to the best of my ability.
Wait,
I
what?
had just
Hold on.
finished a project.
You hated art as a subject, but you do art? which art as a subject? Because, like, I went to art school. There's not just, like, art class at that point. It's like, which art class? Is it art history? Contemporary art? Graphic design? Painting? Drawing 1? Like, which art class? What do you mean?
Where we had to mix different pigments to create our own unique color. Being colorblind,
So color theory?
a lot, as I literally could not differentiate
Like,
between
which
half of
class?
the pigments. I gave it my all, but ended up giving up halfway through the project. The teacher hated me for giving up. In his defense, he had tried to make it as easy as possible for me, but I hated the subject and saw a way out, so I took it. My teacher was beyond mad. When we went to hand the project in, he gave me a lecture about how I need to put in more effort and work harder because of the quality of my work and how unacceptable it was. Remember, I literally couldn't see half of the project. Once that project was finished, my teacher told us that Gallery X had asked that we create some inspired art. We were basically shown 5 different paintings that we were supposed to recreate in our own way. There was a big fuss about this. People were saying that art schools would be giving out scholarships, that there was a $10,000 reward, and other nonsense that 14-year-olds make up. But nevertheless, everyone wanted to be the
I
one
am
to
so
have the
fucking
painting.
confused. At the very beginning, they made it sound like they were in art college, but they're literally just in high school. Why would people go to your school to ask for your art to put in a museum? This is a fantasy. This is not real. What are you talking about? That's not a thing. I'm sorry. Like, is it like a cute little mom and pop museum that doesn't really have anything, so they take the little kitty art? Like, what are you talking about? That's not a thing. Actual museums do not take 14-year-olds' art. They take maybe a college student's art, maybe, very maybe, and that's like, if that's like, they've like become well known. What are you talking about? What? This is not real. This is not real. This is not real life. Did they all start clapping?
In Gallery X. So for the next month and a half in my art classes, we would work on our piece. After the first week of working on my piece, the excitement of the new project wore
Also,
off.
not to mention, like, I'm sorry, but you're in high school. You don't really get to pick and choose which subjects you pay attention to. That's the point of high school. You kind of just have to do all of it. Then when you get to college, you get to be picky and choosy and like, oh, I don't care about that subject, but it's like a general course, so I just have to take it to get my fucking credits, and then I can go into my major. Like, what are you talking about? That doesn't apply to high school. What?
And so did my eagerness in lessons. My teacher noticed this and
Oh
went from
my
complimenting my
God.
work to yelling at me about what I was doing wrong. By the 4th week, I was over the project and just wanted to be done with this. With 2 weeks left on the project, my teacher pulls me aside to tell me that my work isn't good enough and I need to improve it.
I mean, it sounds like you're not trying at all, so
But he
yeah.
kept on belittling me. So, out of arrogance and spite, I made art my most important subject until the end of this project. I dragged myself to each lesson. Quietly
Cool, so he
working
got his
myself
way?
to the
Like,
bone,
what are you talking
counting
about?
down the days until
This
the
is not a
deadline of this
gotcha.
project.
Like,
After what seemed
my
like a
teacher
year
really
to
wanted me to pay
14-year-old
attention
me,
in his
the
subject,
second
so I
class
did.
lesson arrives. This
Like,
lesson was not for final touches or
wow,
anything like that. My
hardcore.
teacher had decided
Watch
that
out
he
for
should
this
review
kid.
what each student has done well and where they could have improved. He walks around the classroom, complimenting everyone's work until he gets to mine. I don't remember exactly what he said, but I'm pretty sure none of it was positive.
Good, you don't deserve it. The fuck?
How he finished talking about mine. You can tell that OP hasn't given this any thought and hasn't taken this seriously. That stung, because yes, I had lost interest in it, but I had still worked hard in lessons and given it my best shot.
Do you not hear yourself?
I sulked out of the class with my tail between my legs. The last lesson finally comes, and I can't wait to be over with this stupid project. This lesson was the big one too. The judges from Gallery X were coming to school to judge all of the work. They come into our class, do all the formalities. These
This
all
is not
look
a
so
thing.
good. I have no idea how we can decide on only one, etc. Then,
Also, if this even was a thing for high schoolers, which it's not. It wouldn't be for freshmen, my guy. No one's gonna give a college scholarship to a freshman. You are a freshman. You are not a fucking literal genius. You're not fucking Mozart. The fuck? You're not like Einstein. You're not getting out of high school early because you're just like a prodigy in like art, even though you didn't care. And then this museum like loves you and then gives you a college scholarship and then also puts your art in a museum. Like, oh my god. That sounds like a Wattpad fucking novel. Like, what are you talking about? This is like what a fucking 10-year-old's idea of like getting a job is because they watched a lot of movies. What is happening?
They start walking around the room muttering to each other. The whole class has stood silently at the back trying to hear what they're saying.
These 14-year-olds are
They
so
took a
good.
full lap of
It's
the room,
amazing.
Then walk back over
Shut
to my
up.
spot.
No.
I don't even notice this, as I had tuned out after they had looked at the second painting. Then they asked the teacher.
I didn't even notice. They love me so much. Oh my god, look how humble I am. Like, shut up.
I snap out of my daydream and just smile politely with no idea what's going on. The judges then confer for a while, whilst my teacher and I frantically try and figure out what's going on. Finally, after about 5 minutes of mumbling, they say that they want to shortlist it to potentially be shown in Gallery X. I look on at them in shock.
No, they didn't.
Then yet again smile politely
Literally,
and say
no,
thank
they
you.
did not.
I cannot begin to describe the look on my teacher's face. I don't think I've ever seen someone more confused, angry, and disappointed all at the same time. My teacher then begrudgingly thanks the judges
Did not happen.
and walks them to the door. He thanks them again as they leave, then stumbles back to the class. He doesn't even congratulate me on my work. He just defeatedly says, "Good work, everyone. As a reward, I'll put on a documentary for you all to watch." And
No,
he
he
just
didn't.
that, not saying another thing until the end of class. Later on that week, I got an email from Gallery X asking for my permission to display my work.
No, they
which I
didn't.
happily said yes to. To sum it up, the work that he disrespected and that he said had no effort was selected from 192 others, got featured
No, it
in the
wasn't.
biggest art gallery in the country. Hope you enjoyed.
No.
Speaking of
And then they
art,
all
do
started
you do any
fucking
kind of
clapping.
art?
Shut
And if so,
up.
what
No,
kind?
they didn't.
Please let us know. Parents leave me with a sick baby and refuse to return until they have had enough fun. When I was 14, 20 years ago.
Oh, great.
I had
Another
been
goddamn
babysitting around my
14-year-old.
small town for 2
Hopefully
years.
this one's not living in a
I had
fucking
great
fantasy
reputation
world.
with my regulars and would routinely stay until the early hours of the morning when the parents needed a night out. I would normally charge $15 an hour, but that would jump up to $20 after midnight. There was a wedding to be held in town, which meant people would be traveling to attend, and I was recommended to babysit by a trusted family friend. I had never met these parents before. Bit of backstory. At the time, there was a big outbreak of illness. There had been cases from where these parents were traveling from, and as a kid who was interested in stuff like this, I had read up all about it.
Back then
and
there
knew
was
the
a big
symptoms.
outbreak
The
of
night the wedding
illness. What
comes,
was it,
and
like
I arrive
bird
at the
flu?
hotel to meet the parents. The baby is 1, and I thought it would be an easy night because I normally have 3 or 4 kids to look after. It was a really hot summer night, and the baby was taking a nap. The mother mentioned he was teething and might be a little whiny, but nothing I couldn't handle. About an hour after they had left, around 2 p.m., the baby woke up and was screaming. He was hot. I mean, so hot to the touch that I pulled my hands back when I went to pick him up. I tried to calm him and cool him, but to no avail. Any food or drink I tried to give him, he threw it back up. At 4 p.m., when I knew the ceremony was over, I called the mother to tell her how sick he was.
Bitch.
This wasn't just teething.
What are you talking
His
about?
temperature was soaring.
Why would
and
you
she didn't even
wait?
leave
What are you
any
doing?
ibuprofen or
You're
anything
gonna
to
kill
help
the
with that.
child.
She sighed into the phone and told me she'd be there in 20 minutes.
Bitch.
Where the reception was, it was a 2-minute walk back to the hotel. After waiting 2 hours and the baby not getting any better, I rang again and was ignored 3 times.
Call
By this stage, it had
911.
cooled down outside, so I took him for a little walk to try and
Oh my
distract
god,
him.
the baby's
However,
gonna die.
I had locked
I'm
myself
stressed.
out when I went to go back in. He threw up again.
This
So at
child
this stage, I
is
was
gonna
covered in
die.
it. I had
Oh
to
my
walk
god,
through reception
I'm so
at the
stressed.
hotel, which happened to be attached to the restaurant. So those dining got a good eyeful and smell to go with their dinner. The lady at the front desk let me back into the room, and I tried to ring again.
Call
the
the
mother finally
fucking
answered, and I told
paramedics.
her everything that had been going on. She sighed again, said that they had just started dinner, and would be straight back after that.
No.
And please don't try to call again. Another 2 hours later, around 9:30, I rang
I
my
am
mother,
beside
and
myself.
she came to help out and bring me a change of clothes. We finally got the baby down at 11, and I rang one last time. Said that I had my mother with me,
Oh my
and I would
god,
be
call
leaving at
the
12
fucking...
after I called an ambulance for him. That mother ended up coming at 11:45, drunk, and very upset that I had ruined her night. She couldn't enjoy herself because she kept worrying that I was going to call. She yelled at me about the smell in the room and how many bottles I had gone through. My mom stood back and let me handle it, but spoke up and asked if I could get paid now because we needed to get home. The mother handed me an envelope and shut the door in my face.
Ma'am?
$20. That was all that was in the...
Ma'am? You need to start taking some pictures, record some shit, and get CPS on the motherfucking phone immediately! What do you mean? What the fuck? The baby could have died! No, you... I'm concerned.
envelope. I was owed $150.
Oh my god, that's
Mom
so
knew we
stressful.
wouldn't get her to answer the door again, so she took me home. The next morning, Mom woke me up with the extra $130. She had gone to the hotel at 7 a.m., and once she told the manager what had happened, the manager slipped a note under the hotel door saying that due to the extra cleaning and disinfecting that would need to be done to the room, there was to be an extra charge of $200 put on the room, plus the extra $130 that our in-house sitter was owed. When everyone looks after each other in a small town, it's a nice feeling.
That's nice,
Apparently,
at least, but
the
like...
father blew up when the extra charges were put on his card. Didn't realize the baby was so sick, and he was yelling at his wife. The mother was screaming about the unsatisfactory babysitting I had done, and they left in a huff. I think about that poor baby every now and again, hoping that he was alright and got over whatever was making him so sick. I was in a small panic for about a week, trying to get sick too, but thankfully, and by some miracle, I didn't. Just because you
My
pay
God.
me doesn't mean I work for you. A bit of necessary background.
I can't.
This happened in
I
2003.
can't.
I work in the insurance industry, and a not very well-known profession having to do with audits. I got my start working for a small company created by my
Go to
uncle,
one
and I was with him for
Call
about 10
911.
years. My uncle then decided it was time
It's
for
a
him to build
baby.
his dream home and move,
They're not
which meant
strong.
either I
Okay.
had to take over the company
Next story,
or find
whatever.
a new job. I didn't want to spend half my day chasing down invoices, so I elected to start a job search, and he agreed to give me some time to find a position before he shut things down. There are two types of positions in my field, where you either work for a vendor, which is an independent service provider, or directly for an insurance company. Openings at insurance companies don't come around that often, and vendors don't really have the greatest of reputations, so they're basically employers of last resort. That ends the background, and now my story. Over the course of about 3 weeks, I applied for 2 positions at different insurance companies, and was quickly notified I didn't get one job. The second kept saying, "We'll get back to you." Not wanting to hold my uncle up, I bit the bullet and went and applied at the largest vendor in the country. The day of my interview, I met with the on-site manager, a lovely lady who seemed to be in a bit over her head. It just so happened that her boss, the district manager, and then his boss, the regional manager, were also in the office that day and sat in on the interview. It went well. I filled out paperwork, we shook hands, and I left. Did not hear anything from them for about a week. In that week, I finally got a call back from the other insurance company, which at the time happened to be the biggest one in the world, known by 3 initials. They offer me a position, go over details, set a start date, and I accept. The following Monday, my phone rings at about 10 a.m. I answer, and it's the lady that I had the interview with at the vendor, who I will now refer to as Vendor Lady. Vendor Lady. "Hi, we were expecting you in this morning. Is there a problem?" Me. Pardon? Vendor Lady. "Today was supposed to be your first day, and we thought you would be here at 9. Me. "Why would you think that?" "That's what our records show." Me. With absolutely no irony whatsoever. "I don't work for you, lady. I never heard from you guys after the interview period. No one called to offer me a position or discuss salary, much less a start date." Vendor Lady, stammering a bit. "Oh, I had no idea. I'll take care of it, and sorry about that."
Mommy.
Me. "Thanks,
my mom
and
is
have a
calling
good day,
me.
I guess." That's not
I
the
will
end of the
text
story.
her.
The following Wednesday, which is typically payday for the job that I had, I go into bank account and see that there's an automatic deposit from the vendor. I stare at my screen for probably a good 5 minutes, trying to puzzle out what the heck is going on. Then I realize I'm going to have to call Vendor Lady. Me. "Hi, Vendor Lady. You might remember me from the mix-up where you thought I was supposed to work for you, but I don't. Why did I receive a paycheck from your company?" Vendor Lady. "That doesn't sound right. Let me check." She places me on hold for a few minutes and then comes back and says, "Well, it looks like since you filled out all of the required paperwork during the interview with your application, you were accidentally placed on payroll as well. What you can do, though, is just write us a check for the payroll amount, and that should take care of it. Me, struggling to comprehend how truly stupid this whole situation is. Listen, vendor lady, I review payroll records for a living, so I'm very aware that you can simply have your payroll department reverse the paycheck, which will basically zero out any payroll taxes that
Seriously,
you pay,
it seems like
as
a
well as any that were
scam.
withheld from the paycheck, as well as reclaiming the small amount placed into my bank account. So no, I will not be writing you a check and be paying you to not work for you.
Exactly.
The week after that, I start work at the big insurance company, and ironically, within 6 months, both the district manager comes aboard as a coworker of mine, and then the regional manager comes aboard in a department related to mine. No clue what happened to vendor lady, but good luck to anyone
That
working
is
for
so
her.
weird.
Just following your rules, boss. I work at a paint factory where we make batches of around 5,000 pounds, sometimes more. We have to use forklifts in order to lift the large tanks that we make it in order to package it. I got my forklift license a couple years ago and have performed nearly every forklift task that we have to do hundreds of times. There are only 2 out of 12 workers without their forklift licenses at the plant, and those 2 are being trained.
Do you guys like
About
the
a year
glasses?
ago, we created our safety committee, and I am the member for the back
I
of the
think I should keep
warehouse
these
where we
ones.
make and package the paint, and where most of the workers are. We look out for any safety concerns, and if someone else has a concern or needs to make a report, we deal with that. We also do monthly and annual inspections
These
of the
look like
premises.
my glasses from high
So
school.
our lead hand treats everybody like absolute garbage, and the boss does nothing about his behavior, his attitude, or the mistakes that he makes, because they have known each other for over 30 years, including the job they worked at before here. They've been around here for 20 years. We are about to start
The
packaging
Gwen
an
glasses?
oil-based paint into 5-gallon pails, like we always do. I lift up the forklift with the tank so that we can get a filter on it, and then once the others are out of the way, I start going up more so that I can line it up with the troll, like I have done 100 times with no issues. This time, however, I had put a bit too much pressure on the gas
rose-colored
pedal, and the tank went up
glasses.
too fast, so I stopped it before it got too high. Doing so, however, is
I love
also
these
dangerous
glasses.
because it's about 6,000 pounds of weight up in the air above the workers. Stopping it too fast could tip over the forklift
I
and
can't
tank
relate to
paint,
this one. I don't know
causing
anything about
possible heavy
forklifts.
damage
Also,
and
I wasn't
possibly
listening.
injuring someone. Getting it too high could also have the same result, so I slowed it and let it sit for a moment just to make sure everything was stable. The tank was not too high, the forklift didn't tilt, wobble, or make any bad sounds, and everything was perfectly fine. Lead hand backs up with his forklift in the other room and sees me checking it and begins to chew me
I feel
out.
like Elton John
I'm
in
used to
these.
this, as are most other coworkers, because he will yell and scream and get upset at anybody who does anything even minutely
I
wrong,
regret
or
that.
in a different way than what he has done for 20 years. He repeats himself multiple times, telling me why it is
Whoa,
unsafe,
my hair!
which I had already acknowledged, and stated
Why do
that
I
I
have
realized
this
what I
still?
had done and what negative effects it
It's
could
from
have
when I
had.
cut my
He
bangs.
goes back to the other side.
Does
and
anyone
then
want
comes
my
over
hair?
once more to repeat it a few more times. All I can say is, I am well aware, as I continue getting everything ready for packaging. He takes this as if I personally hurt his dog, goes to the boss, and tells him the forklift's back tires were lifted off the ground, and that we had to stabilize it. Otherwise, it would have fallen. The other 2 members of the safety committee started an investigation, talking to the guys that were there. Only one had seen what happened, and he stated that everything was fine and that we didn't need to stabilize, nor did the tires lift off. A week later, we start getting the packaging ready, and I get onto the forklift to get it prepared. Lead hand comes running over, saying that it's a safety issue, and that he is driving. I tell him I'm more than capable, and his response is that he needs me, not the other 3 guys standing there who normally do it, to guide him forward. I just go along with it until after the packaging is done, and then I say to him that because he stated that it's a safety issue, I'll need to bring it up with the other committee members so that they can start an investigation on how to mitigate the safety issue and make it more safe, as is my job whenever someone has a safety concern or issue. His response is aggressive at first, telling me he doesn't care, that it's already done, go ahead, etc. Until he tells me that the boss told lead hand that he was to be the only one lifting up tanks from now on. I tell him that's fine, but I still need to bring it up with the
Freaking
committee
thing is so
since he
hard to
stated
wear.
it was a safety issue, and he just grumbled and walked away. Since then, anytime we have a tank to lift, anywhere from full to empty, I stand there and wait for him to come and do it. Sometimes telling him to come and do it, and whenever he tells me to do it, I just repeat what he said about the boss stating that lead hand is the only one allowed to do so, and continuing to wait until he does.
All the
This is
butterfly
an
clips in my
ongoing
hair.
thing
Hold
still,
on.
and it will be for a very long time,
A lot.
unless we're told otherwise by the boss. Have you ever had a coworker you just couldn't stand? If so, why not? Please let us know. I have one coworker I can't stand. His head looks like a balloon. Entitled neighbor uses driveway without permission. My fiance and I purchased our home a few years ago, and our neighbor introduced herself shortly after we moved in. She seemed like a nice elderly lady who appeared to have custody of her young grandson.
Yay.
We had no issues until her middle-aged son moved in. This guy always yelled at the
I'm gonna
boy
get rid of
and
these
was just
too
generally acting like a jerk. He drove a small, beat-up truck that leaked oil. His mother has a nice, long double-car driveway and didn't want oil stains on the concrete, so she had him park in the side yard next to our house. It was right outside of our kitchen window and kind of an eyesore, but it's her property, so whatever. We assumed that her son would drive through their yard to his parking spot, but apparently that was too inconvenient. Instead, he decided to back into our driveway and through our yard to get to his spot. We were always at work when he did this, but we caught it on our camera. Our driveway is gravel and isn't in the best of shape. Her son would take off too fast and throw gravel everywhere. After a couple days, he started to leave a rut, so my fiance went over there to ask him to stop. The mother answered the door and seemed annoyed by our request. Her son parked in their driveway after this, so we assumed that was the end of it. Well, while I was at work the following Friday, I received a motion notification from one of our cameras. I check it, and sure enough, I see her son using our driveway once again.
So pretty.
After work, I passively-aggressively decided to park my car at the end of our driveway. The entrance is only big enough for one car, and there's a deep ditch on both sides, so I knew her son couldn't get out that way. We were planning on staying in for the weekend, so I wouldn't be moving it again until Monday morning. On Saturday, we were doing yard work out front, and the son came out with his dog. He gave us a dirty look, but didn't say anything. I figured he got the message.
He can give all
We
the
woke
dirty
up around
looks
noon
you
on
want.
Sunday
Does
to a
not
bunch of
mean you can
notifications
just
from our doorbell camera.
fucking do whatever
I
you
pull up
want
the
on
video,
someone else's
and I
property.
see
The
the
fuck?
neighbor's son absolutely fuming. He rang our doorbell 5 times and stood on our porch for 20 minutes.
Why?
The whole time he was throwing his hands up and muttering about needing to leave. He actually expected us to get up, go outside in the pouring rain, and move my car so he could use our driveway to get out. He must have driven through his mother's yard to leave because his truck was gone. After that day, he never said anything to us and only parked in her driveway. So I guess he learned his lesson. The thing is, if he would have asked us first, we might have worked something out with him. But instead,
So
he wanted to
weird.
act like an entitled jerk. What would you have done in this situation? Would you have let him use your driveway or not? Please let us know.
No.
I would have conveniently left some nails out there, bruh.
Same.
Crazy entitled lady loses it on me when I take a charity book. My partner and I are very avid book readers, especially since we've had a lot of home time due to current circumstances. Whilst I normally download mine to an ebook, my partner likes to buy traditional paperbacks. We normally would buy in shops, but have recently bought most online. To save money, my partner swaps books with nearby neighbors and friends. She's a carer, so also shares with the people she cares for, so there's a fair number of books being shared around. At some point, everyone has read all the books, and we would usually take them to a charity shop. Unfortunately, most are closed at the moment, so we now have a bag full of books and no one to give them to. So today, I learned of a local grocery store that has a charity book rack, where you can leave the books on a rack and a few honesty money boxes to donate to said charities if you take a book from the rack. I needed some groceries, so I decided to take the bag of books with me, and so this is where our story starts. We've got me, we've got store assistant, we've got crazy entitled lady, and we've got the manager. I enter the store and see the store assistant. Me, can you tell me where the charity book rack is, please? I have a large bag to drop off. Assistant, it's in the corner of our store near the entrance. I'm the only one here at the moment, but if you leave the bag there, I'll sort it out later. Me, if you're busy, I'll just empty these books onto the rack and use my bag for groceries later. Oh, thanks. It saves me a job. So off I go to the book rack and empty about 200 pounds worth of books. And as I'm not busy, I had a look at what other people had brought in. Now there's one bad thing about ebooks, and that they don't have technical manuals. Someone had brought in a manual on how airplanes work, and I thought I'd take it to read. I checked my pockets and
Just
realized I
for
have no
fun?
money on me, only credit cards. Oh well,
Okay.
I brought plenty of books in for charity, so I'll take this and tell the store assistant
Go
about
on.
it when I pay for my groceries. Enter Karen. I sensed some presence had been watching me for some
Ooh.
time. A
Boob
large
tape.
middle-aged Karen, dressed in a leopard skin dress, had appeared and was trying to get to the rack. I had been stacking for a while, and I thought I was in her way, so I moved to one side. She just stood there and stared at me. Then out comes this piercing voice that still sends shivers down my spine as I write this. Karen, who are you? What are you doing to my books?
What?
She did call them her books. You don't work at the store, so you shouldn't be playing with my books. Me.
Sorry,
Ma'am,
what?
I just brought a load of books here and put them in the rack as the assistant couldn't leave her till. Karen, I don't give a crap what you are doing. You shouldn't be playing with my books. I buy lots of books from here, so leave my books alone. She then notices I have a book in my hand with my bag. What are you doing with my book? I watched you.
What?
You didn't pay for that, you thief. I'm getting the manager.
Literally what?
Manager!
Manager!
Now I'm a
Manager!
bit confused, as these are charity books, and the minimum contribution on the boxes states 50 pence a book. So I'm not really stealing after just dropping off 200 pounds in books. Karen then stomps off, and a few minutes later appears with a manager. That's him. He took the book, but hasn't paid for it. I want him arrested. Manager, ma'am, calm down. I can't do anything, as he hasn't taken anything from the store. Karen, yes he has. He's taken that book without paying for it. I work for that charity mentioned on the honesty box, and he has not paid. Manager, is that true, sir? Me, it is true. I only have credit cards, so thought I would be okay, as I just donated a large number of books. See, he's a thief. He's stealing from my charity. Get the police, now.
Get the police!
I'm not getting the police involved for that small
The
assault.
police would be
Sir,
like, ma'am,
what
stop
does the
bothering
donation
us.
say on that box? Me, minimum 50 pence, sir. Manager then rummages through pockets, pulls out 50 pence in small coins, and puts them in the box as Karen watched. Manager, now ma'am, as you've hassled my customer over your charity, I'm going to ask you to leave now. Karen goes quiet, turns around and slinks out of the store with her tail behind her. Manager apologizes to me and offers a discount, but I said no, as he's already bought me a book. I bought my groceries, assistant
That's
thanks me, and I go
funny.
home. Not the most dramatic of stories, but she did make
Yes!
me laugh. Next time
Nice.
I'll wait for the charity shops to
He has a
open.
good voice.
Speaking of
He
books,
sounds really
if you'd like to
familiar. I
read,
can't
and if
place
so,
where
what
it
do you like
is,
to read?
though.
Please let us know. I prefer listening. So on with the next story, Balloon Boy.
Who is it?
Am I
It's
the jerk
another
for removing
YouTuber.
the wood my neighbor keeps putting
He
on my
sounds like
fence?
another
We
YouTuber.
recently got a dog. He's a friendly dog and very well trained. He used to be a competition dog, but got retired due to an injury that caused cosmetic damage to his face. Now, along with his size and scarring, he can look pretty intimidating. Now, to keep him satisfied,
I don't remember
and
what's straight.
happy,
Narnia
we got
and
a whole
Klingon,
doggy
maybe?
gym set up so he could continue doing his various agility activities, including some jump bars. One of the first times I was out in the back having him do some agility practice, my neighbor's son was out in their backyard. He came over to my fence to watch, and we got to talking about him. He was impressed when my dog easily made it over the higher jumps. I made a quick comment about how it was nothing to him, and he could probably jump over the fence if he wanted to. Well, he told his sister, who was apparently already scared of my dog due to his appearance and a bad experience with another dog. She's been refusing to come out into their backyard to play because of my dog. We tried introducing my dog to her
That's
so
really
she
funny.
could see that he was actually really friendly and well trained, so he wouldn't just jump over and attack her. She was not having it though. So my neighbor has been putting up tarps and tried to attach plywood with some straps to the top of my fence so she would be less scared and won't see my dog. Now, my fence,
I
which
feel
is
bad.
solely owned by me and just on my property, is a beautiful decorative wrought iron fence that came with our Victorian-style
Nice.
house, and all the stuff he put on it looks tacky as heck.
Yeah, it
So
sounds
I took
like
it all
it.
down and put the stuff in a neat pile next to his house.
Yeah.
He put it all back up while I was gone. While I was taking it down again,
Yeah,
he
like I
came
get
home,
being
so I went
afraid
over
and
to
stuff,
talk to him
but
about
like,
it.
honey,
He
get
got
her a
angry at me for taking
therapist,
it
not a
down,
tarp.
and said he had to do it to protect his daughter and to keep her feeling safe. He said if I
A
wanted to look
therapist.
nice, I should build a taller fence that wasn't see-through, since I was the
No.
one that decided to get the dog. I told him I wasn't
No.
replacing the fence, and that he could build his own fence on his property if he wanted to, but to
Exactly.
keep stuff off mine. Then he said I was a jerk for thinking he should pay for another expense when I was the one that got the dog, and he had recently been laid off, which is something I knew
And
because
that's
we talked about it before.
his problem
Also,
how...
because it would be really easy for me to build one or put in some cheap hedges, since my yard is just grass.
You put
and
in
his is
cheap
all paved
hedges.
over. I don't want hedges taking up space in my yard, or a different fence though. Well, what would
No.
you do in this situation? What do you think is the best way to solve this? Please let us know. Entitled Dad Can't Handle a Boo-Boo. So this happened about a year ago, but it wasn't the first or last time, or even the most ridiculous. Obligatory sorry for grammar or tense errors. Here we go. We've got entitled Dad, who's entitled Father-in-Law. We've got Mother-in-Law. We've got Husband, and me. So not to get into too much background, but my husband and I are living with his parents. They were struggling
Rip,
to pay their
homie.
mortgage and needed help. I really didn't want to, because I knew how difficult it would be. I cried for weeks when they asked. I was so depressed, knowing what was coming. We moved in with a few conditions. One was privacy and respect for our space, and the other was no fighting in front of our kids. Entitled Dad drinks too much and can be pretty awful. Anyway, on to the story.
Oh boy.
During the move,
That's
we
a
had
good-
the movers move the
good
big stuff,
combo.
but leave the small stuff behind. So later on in the day, husband and I are going back and forth from our old place. Husband is doing the bulk of that, while I start to unpack and organize that new home. Entitled Dad somehow cuts his finger. It's messy, but not an emergency. Either way, CVS is 2 blocks away, and he has a car available to him. Mother-in-law and husband are about to take another trip back home. Entitled Dad tells husband to pick up Band-Aids, and husband says he can't right now. Entitled Dad doesn't like that. He says something snarky to husband. I didn't hear it, but I could tell by the tone of his voice that he was salty. Husband walks out after 1 or 2 word rebuttal. I am in the closet in my bedroom, putting our clothes away. Entitled Dad comes without knocking or asking, complaining about husband and how disrespectful he is. I defend husband, of course, saying that he has a lot to do and just wants to get everything in the
Why
house
did you
before
agree
dark.
to this?
Little did we know that we'd be up until
Why did
2
you agree
a.m.
to
that
this,
night
bro?
and the following. I say that we probably have some at home and that we will get it for him. He says, "So what? I have to wait just to get a Band-Aid?" This really upset me. Again, there's a car in the driveway. And again, drugstore is 30 seconds away. Having had a few ridiculous spats in our recent past, I really didn't feel sympathy for him. The guy doesn't even pump his own gas. Mother-in-law does hers, drives back, and then gets his car and does his. This is what he calls
What?
respect. Now, this is the kind of guy he is.
That's respect.
So anyway,
I mean,
I respond, well,
it's
no.
one thing
you
if
have to
that's like
wait.
they're just doing
You
it
can
because
take
they're
the
nice,
car
but
and get them
that's
yourself.
weird to
He
expect.
loses it, saying that we are ungrateful and disrespectful.
I remember.
Reminder, we moved in to
That's
pay
ironic.
his bills because he is too good to get a job unless it meets his exact specifications.
You should have
And
just
we
said
are
no.
ungrateful. Okay. I text my husband
You
to tell
should've
him what
just said
happened,
no.
and he tells me to not worry.
It's not worth
I
it,
am,
bro.
of course, upset because I don't want things to go to heck
It's
on the
not
first
fucking
day.
worth it.
So my husband suggests that I have a glass of wine with him. Perfect. He's sitting in the backyard, and I come out with 2 glasses. I ask if we could talk, and I start trying to smooth things over. I tell him that it's important that we let things go, and that we keep a healthy perspective on this whole situation. I point out that we are from 2 different backgrounds, and that we will see things differently, and need to learn to deal with that. I also say that he has the right to ask for a Band-Aid instead of complaining about how he didn't get one. He agrees with me, and I think, awesome,
okay.
things are better. We finish our glasses, and I get up to continue with what I'm doing. He thanks me for apologizing. I'm taking 2 Karens to court. I don't live in my home country, and I was
Well,
thrilled
that
to
ended
meet
better than I
Em
thought
at
it was going
university,
to.
since she's from my country. Half a year later, we moved in together. Since neither of us had a working contract, we had to prepay rent for 6 months, plus deposit, plus agency fee. We didn't have the money, so I lent it from my parents. I didn't have any online banking, so Em transferred it from her account.
Why?
Yes, I'm aware I'm naive. Next
Why
day,
did
she
you-
told me, Mom is coming tomorrow and will stay for 10 days. I was quite surprised and said, good, but I'd appreciate it if next time you consult such decisions with me instead of informing me at the very last moment. She laughed it off. While I think this was disturbing, the most disturbing thing is that her mom never left. She stayed with us for 6 months. It was during the lockdown, which they used as an excuse, but we all knew she could leave if she wanted to. On the 4th month, I
Girl,
started
kick her
finding
out.
her flights and offered to pay for her ticket. Nothing. The mom never paid rent for
Kick
her uninvited stay.
her out!
But I also never got the
Oh
money
my
her daughter
God.
owed me in the first place.
Oh my god.
They were quite terrible in every roommate aspect. Just an example of one of the last things they did. While all 3 of us were in our home country for a whole month, Em gave her keys to some random friend of hers. Of course, without telling me, I only found out because of a big fire that happened. Are you stupid to tolerate this behavior? You will ask. The thing is that every time I addressed a problem, they would make it seem as if everything was some misunderstanding, or that I was exaggerating, or they would just deny very obvious,
that doesn't
undeniable
matter
things.
though. Just
At
kick
some
them
point, I would
out.
just question my sanity. Things
I-
escalated even more, And eventually I found myself a new apartment
How
in
do
a
you
matter
let
of
yourself
hours.
even get in
I
this
just
fucking
moved into the first
position?
one I found. It was a tremendous
What
relief.
the fuck?
The thing is, I still want my money, and they won't pay me back. Em and her mom said they would love to pay me back if they had the money, but they didn't. All while uploading Instagram stories of their Euro trips. So I decided to give them 3 more months to pay me back before taking them to court.
Finally,
I told them about my plan, and it felt good to finally stand up for myself. Until this little voice in my head told me, wow, taking someone to court for not paying you back during what's going on right now when it's hard for everyone. What a jerk.
Okay,
move.
you fucking deserve
and that was
this
the beginning
then.
of
Fuck
a new
off.
inner conflict.
You can't
Am
be
I the jerk
upset.
for planning to take them to court?
No,
What do you think?
dumbass.
Is Opie a jerk
You're
for
the
taking
jerk
them
for
to
letting
court
any of
or
this
not?
fucking happen
Please
and
let us
then being
know.
mad about it
Of
because you
course
let
not.
any of this
Get
dumb
your
shit
money
happen.
back,
What the
bruh.
fuck is
Am
wrong
I the
with
jerk
you?
for telling my
God
fiance
damn it, grow
I've got
some
the hots
balls.
for her sister? I've been with my
My
fiance
God.
for 5 years. We rarely fight and have a lot of trust in each other. She and I are going
Like,
to be married
literally
in a couple of
drag
months.
their ass
We have
out
an
of your
inside joke
house
together
and lock the
that we're
door
allowed to get
and then
with
throw their
whoever we
shit out the
want the night
window.
before our
What do
wedding.
you mean?
We're both very aware it's a
It's
joke,
that
and it's
easy.
not something we really want to try.
It's really
We
that
even said
easy.
actual names during the joke, but she was curious. She said she knows exactly
Or
who
just
she
be
would
like,
get with.
get the fuck out
I
of my
asked her
house
who,
from calling the
and
cops.
She said I'd have to tell her mine
Get
first.
out.
To be honest, I had never really thought about who. But when she
You're
asked,
not on the
the
lease,
first
you
person
don't
that
pay
came to my
rent, you
mind
haven't
was her
been here for
sister,
30
who was
fucking
5 years
years,
younger than
so
her.
you don't
I
get
know
tenant
this is probably
rights.
messed
Get
up.
the fuck out.
I rationalized by thinking that since her sister looks like a younger
Ugh.
version of her, it's like I just wanted to
My
cheat
God.
on my fiance with my fiance when we first met, which now I realize sounds pretty awful. I didn't say and said I didn't really know. She didn't believe me for a second and kept asking. At one point, she jokingly
What?
said, "Who knows? I might be able to hook you up with her." I guess she could tell on my face that I felt bad about who I thought. She said it's okay because it's just a joke and she wouldn't be mad. I, against my better judgment, blurted out her sister's name. She stopped smiling and asked me, "What the heck did you just say?"
Yeah.
I went into panic mode and said the name of a celebrity, but that didn't help the situation.
Oof.
She was unbelievably upset that I said her sister. I tried to give her my rationalization, and that only upset her more. She was near tears and told me that I was such a jerk. I told her that she said it was a joke and that she wouldn't be upset over whoever I said.
Dude,
She said that
come
hers was her hot high school teacher back from when she was 17, and she couldn't believe that I wanted to get with her sister. Until last night, I slept on the couch because of it, and she's still sour to me about it. I've talked to some
yeah,
friends
honestly,
about
I would break up
My
with you
close
over
friends
that.
that are women
That's
said I'm
no.
the jerk. One of my friends
What?
said I wasn't a jerk, but I'm stupid. Am I the jerk? Well, what do you think? Is I the jerk or not? Please let us know.
OP is a little
10
idiot.
things you should never say to your fiancé. We really need to get this guy a copy. Live in a rental for over
Seriously.
a year without
What
paying
the
rent?
fuck?
Good luck in jail.
What
Last
is
summer, I bought
you
a house
thinking,
trailer and decided to
sir?
rent it out.
What
It
is
needed some
wrong
work,
with
so I
you?
posted
How is
2
that not
months free
obvious?
rent
Don't
for
tell your.
putting carpet
Oh
down
my
in the living
god.
room, hooking up the hot water heater, and
Oh my
putting in a
God.
toilet. Got a nice couple with a newborn willing to do it. Great. No lease, month to month. No security deposit, and the rent was $450 a month. So they did the work, so I didn't ask for rent for 2 months. Everything was fine. Side note, there are a few state laws that come into play. If you don't pay rent for 3 consecutive months, you are considered a squatter, which means the landlord doesn't have to fix
Dang,
the
only
property
3?
and can actually padlock it and deny you entry. If you're on house arrest and get formally evicted, you could be violated for it. Also, you can be formally evicted even if you've already moved out, so the landlord can get rent due. Also, even though there are eviction bans, if it happened before the ban, then it can still go through. Plus a few other conditions that still allow someone to be evicted.
Okay.
It's up to the judge, really.
More
Fast
things to
forward
put in
5
the trash.
months,
Oh god,
and
it's
still
heavy.
no rent money. Yes, they had a newborn, and they were young and didn't have a lot of money. But the husband can spend $1,500 on a new engine for his project car. They can afford to go out to eat and spend money on electronics, but no rent. So after that 3rd month, I did nothing. The weather was turning cold. I didn't put in the furnace like I promised, and if they hadn't had a newborn, I would have padlocked the house. They were bragging about their tax refund. I gave them a shot to catch up, and they basically said that they know their rights and were in a rent strike. Illegally, I might add. You will see later. When the global issue started, husband got laid off, so I gave them a break. When he went back to work, I asked for back
Dude,
rent
you're being way
again
too
and was
lenient.
told to buzz off. I finally had enough. I told them they had 14 days to get out, or I was doing a formal eviction, and seeing he was on house arrest, he knew what that meant. I honestly was trying to keep him from having to go back to jail and keep an eviction off of their record. I was trying to be
At a
nice
certain
and
point,
civil.
it's his own
So
fault,
they
though.
left, and I cut my losses until I checked the property.
And
Everything they put in,
that
they had
certain
removed.
point would be
Everything they
the
got
first
free rent
second
for was gone.
is his own
I was
fault.
upset and filed for a formal eviction. It didn't go as they hoped. They said I didn't provide heat, so they went on a rent strike. Only they didn't file that with the courts or hold the money aside. They just thought they could stop paying rent. What they put into the trailer was less than the rent. The judge agreed with me that saying they took everything, I was due those 2 months' rent. And the biggest, he started slamming my character. So I said, well, you didn't tell me you were going to be on house arrest when you rented the property. Before then, the judge looked bored, but he perked up. He asked them if that was true. They responded that it was true, and he was ready to make his ruling. I received 15 months back rent at $450 a month and $2,000 in damages because the way they removed the stuff,
2 more
they
pairs
damaged
of
a lot of
glasses.
things.
Now I'm just trying to get everything around the desk cleared out.
But to turn the eviction over to his parole officer.
Because the next thing that I want to clear out is
his house arrest was violated and he was arrested.
chest
They actually
next
had
to
the
the
nerve to
makeup
ask me
desk.
to speak on his behalf.
There's
I
like a
didn't.
chest.
Ruling was his remaining 6 months are now being spent in jail.
So, yeah.
They have a bad eviction on their record, and they owe me money. Know the law before you play the game. Update. I forgot to add that social media blasted me like I was the scum of the earth.
Of course it
I
is.
have to make my own special Thanksgiving meal? Oh, it'll be special, all right. With the holiday season coming up, I've been thinking about past years. My family and I
These are
differ
so
in a
fun.
lot of ways, but I especially differ from my mother. Ever
They
since I was little,
tickle my
we
nose
couldn't
though.
see eye to eye.
I can't wear those
She's
very
the
long.
type of person who prioritizes looking good in social settings, whereas I'm the type of person to not give a flying dolphin. She's expressed deep shame in who I am, and I've lost track of how many times she's angrily asked, "Why can't you be normal?" As I've grown into an adult, I've found ways to understand her and try to keep peace. We learned we have a few things in common.
I
like
need to go
places
through my
go
bows.
And preferred scents and perfumes.
Okay,
Now, one
let's
of
do
the
it.
things my mom has been very bad about is tolerating that I'm vegan. I started as a teenager, but my mom wanted no part of it. She immediately stopped cooking anything for me, including plain side veggies that she would normally cook for everyone. Whatever, I learned to cook. Whenever family get-togethers happen, such as
That's
during
so petty for
holidays,
no
birthdays,
reason.
or any other event, my mom and her family deliberately offered nothing for me.
Just let
I
them
would
be
have to bring
vegan.
my
Who
own
cares?
food or go hungry. Again, whatever.
I have
With their
some pretty
attitude,
scarves.
I don't think I'd trust anything they offered me anyway. One year, my family were hosting Thanksgiving. As per usual, I expected to make my own mini Thanksgiving meal, while she and my dad prepared the real Thanksgiving meal. Now, normally, I prepare a veggie roast, gravy, several sides, and a dessert. I make more than enough, and always place my stuff on the same table with the rest of the food, in case anyone wants any. Every year before, nobody else wanted anything. Weeks before the holiday, my mom did her annual tradition of reminding me to make my own food, because she won't make anything for me. I already had recipes lined up, and, until she said something, was feeling pretty stoked about what I had planned. Her unnecessary reminder only served to upset me. I made a new,
I feel
more
like I use
maliciously
all of
compliant
these pretty
plan.
frequently, so I'll
Fast
keep
forward to
these
Thanksgiving.
guys.
It's going pretty normal. Annoying relatives, loud TV
As long as
blaring,
it can all
my parents
fit
and I
in
trying yet again to
my
somehow share the
storage,
oven.
I'm
Just
good.
before the meal was to begin, some
I have to go
last-minute
through
guests arrived.
Fucking bows.
2 of my dad's cousins had traveled a few hours to get here.
It's a belt.
I barely knew them, but that was about to change. Shortly after, we were
The
bonding up a
Orange
storm.
YouTube Awards
We had some overlapping interests,
bracelet
agreed on
thingy.
politics, and they wanted to try my food. Sure, but I had to warn them, the gravy is a bit special. See, what my mom doesn't know is that when she reminded me to cook, it actually reminded me that I had made some canna butter using vegetable oil just the other day. I figured, forget it.
Okay,
If nobody's
let's
going
do
to eat
this.
any of my food anyway, I might as well get buzzed off of it. So I looked
Nice.
into vegan gravy recipes and used my special oil. When I explained the situation to my new favorite relatives,
I'm
they
letting
thought it was
myself keep
hilarious.
5
They
bows.
also immediately wanted to try my gravy. We ended up chilling around the fire, laughing like old best friends. They promised never to tell anyone what I did. We now look forward to seeing each other every year. I haven't added any special ingredients to my big meals since then, but they still make space on their plates
Enough
to
that
try
this
everything I
thingy
make.
isn't just
Speaking
full
of
overflowing.
Thanksgiving, what's your favorite thing to eat on Thanksgiving? Please let us know. I could go for some stuffing and gravy right now. Maybe some cranberry sauce. Am I the jerk for quitting my job
Damn it,
after
those
not
sound
getting a
good.
promotion? So I,
I had
28
turkey
man,
sandwich for
have
dinner.
been with my company for 6 years. I make great money, love the company and my colleagues, and intended to spend the rest of my career. But
So
they
many
overlooked me for a
fucking
promotion,
bows.
and it changed everything.
Woo.
My immediate manager announced a month ago that
Empty.
he got a promotion to a different office in the group. Cute congratulations,
Okay.
but also excitement,
Let's
as I
see.
also saw this as a great opportunity. I know the job inside out, have great relationships with my colleagues, and I have the top client earnings by far of anyone. Plus, the 3 managers I've had have all been promoted from my position. I messaged my manager and HR that I wanted to be considered for the position, and I received a reply from HR acknowledging it. 2 weeks
There's
later,
like one
we were
of
called
every
into the
color.
conference
So
room
let's see.
and introduced to the new manager.
Keep a
No
black
one I
one.
knew.
I don't think I
Never
want to keep
worked for
these
our company
giant
before.
ones.
Never worked
These
in our
are too
field
big, I
before.
think.
New blood, we were told. We'll shake things up, we
So,
were told.
Black.
Afterwards, I approached my manager. He says he wasn't even asked for his opinion on his replacement, and sometimes it's just down to the whim of the partners and the relationships that have been cultivated with them. So I concluded I was never going any further here.
Here.
I'm just someone who can make them a lot of money in the position I'm currently in. No need to move me up. So I contacted an agency and had a
Look
new
at all the
position
bows.
inside a week. Slightly less money, and I'm no closer to management position.
Like JoJo Siwa.
But it feels good. But everyone thinks I'm a jerk. My old boss, because I'm making him look bad in his last days, as I won't accept the offers they are making. New boss, who hasn't even started yet, has called numerous times saying I'm sabotaging her from the get-go. And finally, my partner, who thinks it's because the new boss is a lady and not about respect. They
I have
didn't even
snack.
interview me, for goodness sake.
I have
So,
snack.
am I the jerk? Sorry, guys. My inbox has crashed and burned. I'll begin by defending
This
my
is
wife.
good.
A bit.
This is
I
good.
did
I
say
need
some
it.
things I shouldn't have. That
I'm gonna
resulted in
put
her
this
having
camera
that
back up
opinion.
though so you can see
I
my
think
beautiful
she mostly
face.
believes that I didn't mean what I said, and it was just a very emotional moment. She made me
Back
regret
off
saying
my
it anyway,
waffle.
and I did discuss leaving with her before I did. My new boss has more management experience than me, and it is easily transferable. I've seen her work history.
Break.
No one would expect me to train her in the job. Her difficulty will be in replacing the revenue I generate in her first 6 months. That's what she is upset about. The offers they are making are purely monetary. I prefer a promotion. They avoid the subject. Yes, this was an emotional decision. As someone commented, I threw a tantrum. But at the moment, I don't regret it. Edit 2. I
Young.
made that comment I shouldn't have made to my wife about the new boss, not to my new boss. I don't work here. Oh, do you want to? Years ago, as a teen, I worked at a pet
do you
store
want
that
to?
had dark forest green polos for their uniform. The grocery store across from my apartment
Sorry.
complex also had dark green
You cannot
polos for their
have.
uniforms. As that's where I shopped,
Waffles are
I
not
got
for
a lot of
doggies.
people asking me for help. To be fair, while our logo was huge across our backs, it was tiny on the front. So I often got approached from the front or side by people asking for assistance. I knew the store pretty well,
Can I boop
so
you?
most of the time I would just point them in the right direction or help them get an item
You let
off
me
a high
boot, so
shelf.
here you go.
My previous job had been at a different grocery store, so I would even
Don't
occasionally
mind my
help
hand.
bag groceries for
My
people
God,
if the
Bubbles.
line was long, and I was impatient. They always seemed to have a lack of baggage clerks. Anyway, one day I was only buying soda, and an elderly lady had a full cart in front of me. This was way before self-checkouts, and no express lines were open. So I put my soda on that little pull-out thing registers have, and started bagging this lady's like 100 plus items. I chit-chatted with both the cashier and the lady for a bit while I worked. Finally, I got everything in her cart and asked if she needed help out. She said no. Her husband was waiting outside and would help her load
Do you
it.
have to drool
I
on
told her
this?
to have a great day. At this point, a woman walks up in store uniform. She smiles at me
They're
as the
not.
cashier starts to ring me up. Hi, can't remember her name. Let's call her Mary. That was some really good
They're
customer
not.
service. Me. Oh, thanks. I don't think much of it as the cashier tells me my total. I pull out my wallet to pay. You're off work? She asks, eyebrows raised. Oh yeah, just going home. Wow, what's your name? I tell her. That's fantastic. Even helping our customers even after your shift has ended. Light bulb slowly starts to come on in my head. I haven't gotten a chance to meet all of our employees yet, but if they're anything like you, this is going to be a great store to work at.
Oh.
Turns out, Mary was a transferred supervisor from another store and was trying to meet all of the employees. I laughed, not in a mean way, just was surprised.
Floppy
I
didn't
pointed
get
to
one.
the small logo on my shirt. She started to
Leave
turn a
him
little red.
alone.
Not much, but a hair. I apologized for the confusion
Leave the baby.
and just told her
Leave
that I
Buff's
don't
not
mind
up there.
helping out
No.
when I can.
In the bed.
Mary,
In the bed,
well,
Floppy.
Not by
There you
chance
go.
looking
Good
to
boy.
change jobs, are you? I could really use people like you here. I declined as I liked my job and I was reasonably sure it paid better. But the next year and a
Okay,
half
Bobby.
until I moved and changed stores, anytime Mary
He's
saw
running in
me,
the
she would
other room.
always say hi and asked if I'd changed my mind on her offer.
Okay.
Am I the jerk for not giving my parents a bad
What
report
colors am
card?
I actually gonna
In
use?
high school, I cannot believe I'm writing this as a 27-year-old man,
Probably
but I
this
am
one.
genuinely retrospectively in trouble with my parents right now. I was just on my
This
break
one,
at work
maybe.
today, got my phone out, and I
This
saw a text from my mom that said, "Call me now," followed by
And
a
that's
whole
it.
bunch of missed calls and a text from my dad
That's all I
going,
want.
"What the heck have you done?" I wasn't really able to call them to find out what was going on,
Okay.
because I don't get long breaks. So I replied asking what was up, and that I could call them / come by
This
when
is
my
for
shift ends.
my awesome
I was more than a
cosplay.
bit panicked. I don't care how old you are. Parents freaking out about something makes you feel about 15 again. So I finish up work and go over, and the upper floor of the house is chaos. Various documents all around the floor, and the filing cabinet where they keep stuff like receipts and bills is on its side. Immediately I'm
You're a
thinking,
menace.
what the heck? Have they been robbed? Has somebody been hurt? But my mom comes up and starts berating me about how I'm a liar and a cheat, and she can't believe how I could dare do something so awful. I'm not
What?
getting any words in edgewise, and she looks on the verge of tears, so I go find my dad to find out what the heck is going on. It turns out my mom had been organizing the file cabinet, and shoved at the back she found an old high school report card that tracked effort, attainment, that sort of thing. And the thing is that at the time, I really hadn't been putting in that much effort, so my scores reflected that. I knew that that was a paddling, so I just brought it home one day and stuck it in the file cabinet
so
broadly,
funny.
where I thought they went. Never told my parents and forgot about it. I never knew how I got away with that one, but I think the stars aligned, and they just didn't happen to speak to any other parents about reports around that time. Anyway,
That's
in
so
organizing,
funny.
my mom found it, and not only is it not okay with her, it's like I've done something horrible, and I'm basically being treated as a man like I'm back in high school and need to be punished. Screaming, crying, the whole deal. I calmly said I was sorry, but that this reaction right now is what I was trying to avoid, and it would have been a heck of a lot worse back when you actually had power over me. This is a bit of a mess,
That is
but
so
I got
funny.
in my car, went home, and posted this. I don't ultimately know what the fallout will be. So, am I the jerk for hiding a report to try and stave off this reaction?
Look at this fucking
and
dog.
being more concerned about my mom's sanity than I am
Look at you.
apologetic as a
You're a
full-grown adult?
menace.
Well, who do you agree with? OP or his parents? Please let us know. I dare
Way up
you to
there.
hide a report card from me, Mr. Reddit. I'm 4 years old. What's your excuse? This happened in August. We live in a coastal city, walking distance from the beach. We both had 2 weeks off from work and spent every day at the beach with the kids. We usually go early in the morning and stay until noon, and then maybe go back in the evening. That day,
You can
my
make
wife
all the
had
weird
left
noises
early
you
with
want.
our
It doesn't mean
oldest
you
to
get
prep
stuff.
lunch, and I stayed
It doesn't
behind with
mean
our
it.
4-year-old daughter.
It doesn't
As we
mean
were
you get.
preparing to leave, my
That's what
wife
happens.
called to tell me to pick some fresh
That's
vegetables
what
up
happens.
because we had run out. The grocery store was on our way home, so it was okay. So we stopped at the store. I exchanged
Lettuce.
pleasantries with the owner, an old classmate of mine, and stay outside looking for what we need, while my daughter entered the store to talk with the owner's son. Same age, same preschool. The owner has 2 customers inside the store.
Much better.
Next to me is a lovely old lady that asks if I can help put some of her groceries in her cart, especially 2 5-kilogram bags of potatoes. I see no reason not to, and I put them in the cart.
You.
She thanks me, half in my language,
Ew.
half in Russian. I reply in kind.
You
I
little
understand some
puppy.
of the language
No.
because some relatives of my grandma were from there and picked up some of the language when I was growing up. She smiles and waves goodbye, and I return to my browsing.
It's not for you.
And then the Karen emerges. I want 3 kilograms of onions, 4 kilograms of potatoes, and 3 kilograms
Sorry,
of
baby.
tomatoes. And be fast about it. I'm in a hurry. I turn around
Still
to see
not
a
for you.
middle-aged woman in a
Still not for
sundress,
doggies.
sunglasses, big hat,
It's not
stereotypical Karen haircut, with her arms crossed in front of her and tapping her foot. Because the store is self-service, and I'm wearing swimming
even
trunks,
think
an old
about it.
t-shirt, flip-flops, and have my beach towel wrapped around my shoulder.
Yes,
and carrying a
good idea.
ridiculously
Break
huge
time.
Beach bag,
Break time.
I give her no mind and return to my shopping. Big mistake. Karen decides to grab me by my shoulder. I gave you an order, boy.
Do you?
I'm 40 years old, by the way. Now do it, or I'll get you fired.
Do you have
I
any
don't
puppy
work
needs?
here. I
Or
reply and take a step
A
backwards.
treat?
Don't give
Do you
me
need a
that
treat?
BS.
Maybe something
I
that's
saw
actually
you
for
helping
doggies
that
and
other
not
woman.
people food?
She
Not
kindly
mommy
asked for
food?
my help to move her bags. I still
Not
don't work
mommy's
here.
food?
So, You only help
give you a
your
little tiny puppy
compatriots,
snack,
you
huh?
little jerk. What a disgrace. At some point, we had gathered spectators. The owner had come out, along with the kids, and my daughter decides to come to my rescue. My daughter doesn't like people fighting, and finds creative ways
but you're
to
very
break them.
gentle, so it's okay.
Why are you screaming at my father? He already told you he doesn't work here. My daughter chirps in when Karen stops
You
for a
can't
breath.
have that.
Because he doesn't
You
know
can't
his
have
place.
it.
Now go
I wish your
away.
hair was longer.
Karen
I could put a bow
replies
in
and
it.
starts to continue her rant.
Your
The
hair's
owner
not
is
long
about to
enough right
step
now,
in
though.
when my daughter walks up to her,
Don't steal.
sticks out her tongue, and blows
Don't try
a
to steal.
raspberry at Karen.
Don't.
The Karen is
So.
momentarily stunned.
He put it in there?
That's rude, she
Did you
manages
drop
to
it?
say. Well,
think he
I'm
did.
4. What's your excuse?
You tried to distract me.
Point,
You did. You tried to
Karen
distract
starts
me
laughing.
so you could.
Karen is doing her best imitation of a fish. Her mouth open
You were
and
too
closing
smart.
with no sound coming out. At
You
that point,
fucking
the owner
tried
steps
it.
in and tells her to leave,
You
and
almost
that her
got away
business is
with
not
it.
welcome there. The rest of us have a
You.
good laugh. We picked up our groceries.
You
and went
are a
home.
puppy.
I
You
just
are
like
just a
dressing
little
nicely.
puppy, aren't you?
No, I don't
What
work
are you
here.
doing?
So there's a nice country
What are
shop
you
near
doing?
me, 26 female. It sells all
Oh,
sorts
she's
of
so
nice shirts and
sneaky.
everyday stuff,
You are
as well as
sneaky,
high-end
baby.
country brands and coats, etc. It was my day off and payday, so I wanted to go and treat myself. So I
No.
decided to dress up nicely in a pale
This is
blue
for
shirt
mommy.
and some jeans with some boot heels. Coincidentally, a brand they stocked. I felt pretty good. Notably, the shop doesn't have a uniform. The
I
staff
believe
have to
you.
wear on-brand clothing and are always greeting you and stuff, so they're obvious. Now,
Ugh.
previously I've worked in retail, so I
I
feel
need
for
to
the
do
staff
traffic.
when the shop looks like it's been ransacked and people just ruin all the neat folds
I'm
and
gonna
throw
put this
coats back wherever. So there I was,
Up here,
minding my
so the
own
pup
business,
can't
trying on a
reach.
jacket. Decided I need another size, so I zipped up the one I had just tried and put it back on the rail.
Okay.
Then some angry Karen is stood there, like right over my shoulder, as if personal space isn't a thing. Me.
She is hunting.
Sorry. Were you wanting to look
She's
at
on the
these?
hunt.
Karen. No. I've been stood
can't-
over here trying to get your attention the
You.
last 5 minutes. I need this in another size. Can't believe how rude the
What a
staff is
monster.
here. You can see I'm stood here holding the jacket.
What a fucking
I just assumed
monster.
this lady was shopping
You.
and had the jacket in hand because she wanted to buy
Monster.
it. Did not get a vibe at all.
She's trying to get at it.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
no,
boss.
I don't work, Karen.
The tail.
I mean, preferably, I'd like it in a navy if you have it. Thrust the jacket towards me. Me. Look, I do
No.
not work here.
Silly.
You can practically see the cogs turning at this point. Rather than apologizing, she goes on a tirade. Well, why
What a
are you dressed like you
monster.
work here? Me. Excuse me? Literally, we are in a clothes shop. There is no uniform. I'm not wearing a badge. Well, it's just plain misleading.
I haven't been paying attention until just that sentence, but... Dude, that's happened to me so many times. Especially when I had just worked at Hollister and then I stopped working at Hollister. Bruh. I got that all the time.
So inconsiderate. By this point, a retail associate walks over and smiles and asks if they can help with any sizes or anything. Karen points at me. Does she work here? Me. What the heck? Associate. No, sorry. Here. Why is she dressed like she does? Both me and the assistant were just lost for words. I gave her a few stern words after she started yelling at the employee. The girl was
Actually,
on
I'm
the
gonna just
brink of
donate
tears.
these. Why am I doing
Karen
this?
stormed out, saying she was going to leave a terrible review. I apologized on behalf of Karen.
Watch
and
out,
for losing
Floppy.
them her custom. Retail assistant reappeared
Floppy, look
with
out.
the manager
Oh, Floppy,
2
watch out,
minutes later,
baby.
who laughed
Baby.
and praised me
You
for
gotta
handling
move.
it diplomatically.
Floppy, you're gonna
Offered
get
me a
hit.
10% goodwill discount
Floppy,
on
watch-
anything I chose, as well as a job.
Floppy, watch
I've worked
out.
there for 2 years
Baby.
now. Never saw Karen again.
Watch out,
Customer
Mama.
hands me bad check while trying to return used shoes. The original
Maybe I
one
keep
deal
trying
happened
to,
last
like,
week,
dodge
and
you,
he
but
came
you
back
keep
yesterday to
going
try his
into
hand
the
at
area.
giving us
Okay,
bad
good.
checks again yesterday. So I think it's time
Thank
I
you,
post
Floppy.
the story. Cast. We've got me. We've got the bad man.
Oh,
We've got
flawless.
Kay, my coworker who works at
The
both of our
black.
store's locations. Oh boy, here we go. I was at the front running the
Okay.
register when this guy walks in. He starts asking me if
Let's
we
see.
had
Okay, let me
these shoes
tally.
here.
Let me see.
He
Where am I
wasn't holding
at?
a box, and the counter covered his feet. So I
I've
leaned
basically
over and
cleared
see
out
he's
the
talking
entire
about the
makeup
shoes he's
desk.
wearing. I'm like, oh yeah, they're on clearance now though. So I don't
So
know
I can
how
probably
many
get
we
rid
have
of that
left.
this weekend.
Then he starts talking about how they're the wrong size and how he wants to exchange them for a different size.
I think
I'm
the
stunned
next...
that he wants
hold
to
on.
give me the hot.
I think the next thing I need to do... Are you trying to sneak? Are you... Sneaky baby. Yeah, so I can get rid of the makeup desk this weekend, hopefully. Then I just need to get rid of, or I need to go through that shelf that's over there. And then where all this stuff is going is eventually into the closet, I think. I think it has to be. My makeup stuff, I think I want to just get like a little... I'm going to look at IKEA this weekend. I'm going to write down notes. Hold up. Making a note for everything I have to do this weekend. Where's the pen? Where's my motherfucking pen? Where's my pen? Son of beach sheet! Where is my fucking... Fine, I will just... How do I have no... There's pens right there. Okay. Okay. Oh, for fuck's sake. That is a silver Sharpie. Oh my god. I was like, maybe it'll be a normal Sharpie. No. Not a normal Sharpie, of course. Alright, we're just gonna use... Oh god, okay, this kind of pains me to use these for this, but here we go. We're gonna use a Copic marker to take notes. Anyway. Okay, so that's the wrong side. So, I need to get rid of desk. I need to... I'm not gonna send Katie that yet because when I go through my closet, there might be more stuff she wants, so I'm gonna just package it all together. I need to get under desk storage. Yes. Get rid of the desk over there. Get some under desk storage here, and I'll just put all of my makeup in that. There'll be more than enough room there for that. And then I can just do my makeup at this desk, because that should be easy enough. I don't know why I didn't think of that sooner. Anyway, solves my problem. Do you need to get by, baby? There you go. And then... I think I should probably look for a bed. I should probably look for a day bed, huh? Probably also get that at IKEA. Just be cheap. Also, there's an IKEA not that far from where I'm at, so... You know. That will be pretty easy. Hopefully they'll have one in stock and I can just pick it up. Day bed. Alright. I think the last thing I want to do tonight, let's see. I need to film the Jacko video tomorrow. I don't think I can film in here. It's too messy. We're too in the middle of doing shit, I think. So... I think I'll just do it in front. Maybe I'll just set up a temporary, like, I'll, like, throw up a blanket or something in my living room or something and I can film it there. I don't know. I'll figure out something. I will, yeah, I will figure out something. I've got some tarps. I'll find something. ah. So I think, yeah. So this weekend, I'm gonna get rid of the desk, under desk storage, maybe start working on the bed. I need to figure out what I'm gonna do with the stuffed animals I have. I need like a better storage spot for them. Currently they're on the canopy and I don't know, I feel like there's a better solution. Anyway, so let's see. So yeah, we did this today. We did the cart. We got a lot of progress on the makeup, which I'm very happy about because that was a really big undertaking, and we actually cleared the desk off, which is pretty epic. And this is all that's left. So let me see. This stuff is gonna go in the closet. All this stuff goes in the closet. This is the makeup. Yeah, I think, okay, so Friday, then, I think we'll do a shorter stream. Maybe we'll do some Duolingo during it, but for the most part, I think I would, but the fact that you say you want to use it for something and then aren't really giving me details makes me not want to do that. So I'm gonna need some more details. Yeah. But thank you. We are not streaming tomorrow because I'm gonna film my Jack O video, and well, actually, maybe if I have extra time and I want to work on this, I might start working on other parts of my house. I've got my closet, my own closet to go through still. I got a pretty decent chunk done yesterday, but I have more to do. So I'm not planning to stream tomorrow, but I will let you know if I do. Friday, however, yes, we are streaming. This weekend, I'm gonna try to like get a lot of the big furniture out that we've cleared off. So Friday, I want to work on this, getting this cleared off, and then maybe getting like the bed cleared off, or possibly, yeah, I think those two things cleared off first because I want to get rid of the bed and get the day bed. So I think that would make the most sense. And then I can, next week, we can start going through that bitch over there. And then I think the closet is the thing we tackle next. Because I need to get everything into the closet. So I think that's the plan. Hi. You're so cute. So yeah. Just an audio for Joke with Friends. Okay. Okay. Let me go back and see what it said then. Let me scroll. Okay. Okay. I'll be your big titty goth GF with penis. Did I do it right? Sil, you can't have my waffle. Do you like my earrings, Lapis? Cute boy. So, yeah, I think that's the plan. Bro, ever since that second vaccine, I've had a little bit of a cough, I'm not gonna lie. What you doing, buddy? What you doing, Mopsy? Does it smell like mama? Good boy. Silly buddy. Do you want to come sit by mama? You come sit by mama. Come here. Come. Sit by mama. Okay, we got the buddy. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. Hey, why are you running from mama? Buddy, you don't need to play with the trash bag. That's not for Buddy. That's not for Buddy. You don't need that. You don't need a buddy. Buddy. You don't need a buddy. Okay, so let me see. I think we've done pretty good for tonight, honestly. Gotten through all of this shit. I think if we go really hard next week, we might be able to get the whole thing done. Like, if we really just go hard all week, that's my plan for next week, is to just, like, the whole week. Just go super hard the whole week. My plan is to stream every day, so we can, like, just knock this shit out. Because I want to, like, work on actual, like, photo sets and videos and stuff, and not just, like, filler content. So, yeah. It would be nice if we could get this done really fast. So I'm hoping we can. Like, with how much progress we made today, honestly, like, I'm very hopeful. Like, I'm actually very hopeful. We only started at 1 o'clock today. We didn't even have the whole day. I mean, like, we went really late. But we didn't even have the whole day. So, we got this done in, like, 6 hours, maybe. I think that's pretty good. And we talked for a lot of it. So, it's not like we were working super hard. Alright, I feel good about this, guys. I think this is a good plan. I think this will work. I think this will work. The closet's gonna be a bitch, though. That one's for sure. That's gonna take more than 1 day, probably. So we'll try to get, yeah, this whole section cleared out first. And then we'll work on the closet. Alright. Fuck. I'm excited, guys. Are you excited? I'm very excited. I'm excited for us to have a new room to do shit in. Hello. It's gonna be nice. Yeah, okay, well, it's getting very late, so I'm gonna go do something that's not this for a bit and go relax. Maybe take a bath or do some yoga. So, yeah. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. It was a very good day. I will probably keep listening to Mr. Reddit or other people as we do this, because I think that worked out really nicely to give us something to talk about in the background while I'm doing this, because, like, sometimes it can get a little bit boring for you guys, since it's just, like, me, like, literally going through shit. So, floppy. So, yeah. Let's see, what else do I have to say? I think that's it. Okay. Have a good night, guys. Or morning. It might be morning for some people because it's that late. So have a good night and or morning. I will see you guys in content tomorrow. I didn't post on Snapchat or Fansly or anything today. I will tomorrow. I'll probably throw this outfit back on for that. So yeah. So yes. Okay. Mwah. Have a very good night, guys. Thank you, Dickhead. Bless up. Oh, sorry, bubbles. Sorry, bubbles. Man, my voice is sore from talking all day. All right. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you to everybody who subscribed or donated or liked the video. Thank you guys for helping me get through this. Yay. Okay. I will see you guys tomorrow. Okay. Goodbye. Say goodbye, Pops. Goodbye, Pops. Goodbye, doggy. Meepy's down here. He says goodbye too. Goodbye, Meeples.